Blazers there as well, and as you predicted, Campbell Jolly goes into the middle. Axford's in there as well.
And Jeb McLeod.
And McLeod in there. And the youngster is Darnell Grech, who's going to start with Fleming. So two of those boys we spoke about to step up and help out James Blazer in the midfield. Round one is underway at Ted Summer, the reserve, and Farrell knocked it straight down. Coming hard off the line there, quickly off the back of the shoulder there. Tape is, looks to be Slater. He kicks it out wide. Tyson Biffin was there. Trips over, close to the boundary line, squeezes a handball back towards Grech, spins around in a tackle, right foot boot, finds his target in Fleming, who just drops the mark. Coming through again there is Reece Salter. He's had two nice little touches. Handball's back there to Allison. He goes back inboard. Druin tried to come through the middle. Was picked off though. Jacob Wood with a haircut. Drives to the half forward. Picking it out off there was Jackson Koss. Handball's out wide to his teammate. Putting him under a little bit of pump at centre half back. And there's a free kick. It's going the way of... It looks to be Eddie Morris, who didn't start forward. He went back, so Kingy gave us a bit of a furphy. It was a nice little kick towards half forward, and they've called holding the ball. It allows it was Braganola to kick it inside forward 50. Dugan was there, spun around, got under his right foot. Great tackle from behind. Play on, said the umpire. Fleming crashes in. Handball's out wide. This time it falls to Ainsworth. First shot for 2018 is on its way, and it's made for a minor score. And that is on the Harvey Norman Computers Gippsland scoreboard. Paul Carter.
And it's only taken a minute and 13 seconds. Murray one behind 1 point, leading Druin yet to score.
I don't know how you did it, Darryl, but you got through that first section because it's very, very difficult to see the numbers on the outer side as Olsen plays onto himself, goes long and wide to the outer half-back flank, beats all over the top. Falls to Renitz for Moe, to Farrell, handballs inside. Handball over the top to a 50-50 contest. Comes to ground to Ainsworth. Scrubs a kick inside 50. Working hard there is Van Dyke. Tackled straight away. Right on the 50-metre arc for the Lions. Grech picks it up. Gets tackled by a mob of Hawks. And the ball just inside the boundary will be a ball up there.
Tell you what, Jackson Koss's attack on the football and tackling pressure across half-back has been fantastic early.
Right on the 50-metre junction where the 50 meets the boundary line. Moe's forward half. Comes to Blazer, handballs backwards. Ainsworth in amongst it early. Goes inside the corridor, inside 50, but it's cut off nicely there by McCullough for Druin, taking a defensive mark. Going back from where the ball came, going out wide, and there is that man again, Peter Ainsworth, as Anderson's a little bit late on the scene there for Druin as Moe go forward again.
Kicks it over the top. Fleming takes the mark unopposed. Sold a little bit of candy. Still on that left foot. Missed the target going inside 50. Quick hands off the ground there. Picked off by, it was for Druin. Good run from half-back. They drive the footy down towards half-forward in Bob McCallum direction. Lands at his feet, close to the boundary line. Over it goes. And the first time down towards half-forward for the Hawks goes over for a boundary throw-in. 2.5 minutes in, first quarter action from Ted Summer, the reserve here in Moe. Sees the Lions up by a point.
If McCallum had got his hands on the ball there was no one inside 50 and he was still 80 metres from goal. As Farrell works the ruck contest back to Blazer and he's tackled straight away, and the result would be another ball up. Defensive side for Moe, defensive side of centre as Farrell knocks the ball forward. Ainsworth again runs onto it.
Good hand.
Handball's inside to Maceese. Umpire says a throw against Ainsworth as he was tackled fairly quickly. And we'll just try and pick up the player there on the outer wing. It looks to be Axford. Comes inside the corridor. Nice mark there by Jolly. Jolly marks in the centre circle. Handball's off to Olsen. Olsen goes long inside 50. One-on-one. Stanley gets a fist on the ball. Comes to the ground. Follows up his effort. His kick smothered. Inside 50. Morris, 45 metres out. Lines up the goal. And it just hits the post. I thought it faded.
It was fading back.
And unfortunately for Eddie Morris and the Druin side, is a minor score. Hits the post halfway up.
Boys, four ball-ups and 4 wins to Dylan Farrell. Does Bob McCallum go in now, or do you leave Allison on the ball?
Stay strong. 4 minutes only there, Paul. As Biffin plays onto himself. Gathers some ground. Handballs out to Maceese. Now he's got plenty of time. He stops, he props, delivers nicely. And he finds Braganolo across half-back there for the Lions, who stays to that far side, goes long in the directions of Grech. Is it out there? Tommy Long, who's gone up forward. Shuffles it backward towards Farrell. Great work by the big man. He looked like a rover out there and delivered nicely out there to Van Dyke, who can handball over the top. Blazer comes in, picked off
Great
there.
Pressure from Drew.
Great work by Liam Axford. Got a handball in towards Koss. Then he goes further afield. The run comes again. This time it looks to be Anderson underneath. Good strong tackle. Fleming has done some nice little hard work in the clinches. Grech was there trying to spin around. No one can really take clean possession. Grech gave it to Farrell. Farrell came out to Biffin. Now Biffin's delivery is beautiful, and he hits up out there. Therefore is Josh Pearce, the new recruit. He's a good size, is Pearce. Delivery is beautiful as he hits Dugan on the chest. And you feel the Moe side, they all go to Pearce right in the middle of the ground, and that was fantastic. That's how you get a welcome to your new club.
And I'm pretty sure Ash Dugan appreciated that as well, as that was laced out. Didn't even have to deviate off the line. Geez, was red hot in the clinches there too, boys.
Farrell was good.
No team could gain clean possession until Farrell just plucked it off his toes, fed the ball back to Biffin. He found Pearce, who pinpointed his pass into Dugan, lines up almost directly in front. We're kicking from 40, 45 metres. Ball on the boot. That's not a very nice kick off the boot at all. And hooks away to the left-hand side and goes through for their second minus score of the quarter on the scoreboard.
The Harvey Norman Computers Gippsland scoreboard. We're 5 3/4 minutes into the first quarter. 2 behind, 2 points to Moe. 1 behind, 1 point, DROUIN.
Well, Olsen has it down in his defensive goal square. And looks to the far side. The breeze here at Ted Summit are just pushing across the ground. That's a poor kick. He comes to the near side. Good work by Collins. Got tackled quickly as he grabbed the football, and he's got a free kick for over the shoulder as he gets helped up, Bryce Collins, by Jacob Wood. And Collins in front of the can bar here at Ted Summit Reserve. And the boys behind the goals will certainly give this an indication. Good spot to kick goals from.
He's a left footer as well, Darryl, so perfect spot to kick it from.
Collins back into the side after a horror injury late in season 2017 as Collins comes in, left foot shot on goal, and he's pushed that away to the far side. These boys just not quite adjusting to the Moe doctor here.
No, absolutely. Moe doctor.
The Zephyr.
They are kicking to the South Street end, the Lions, and 3 behind so far on the scoreboard. Won't be the start that they were after. We've got inside 50s, Paul?
Yeah, it's 5-1 Moe's way.
So getting inside 50 enough, just need the result on the scoreboard as Olsen gets close to the line. It goes long down the middle to Noah. Biffin marks inside the square, plays onto the 50. Has to check his kick out wide to Sim. Sim feeds the ball back to Braganolo. His kick smothered. Good pressure from DROUIN. Create a turnover. Pressure comes from Moe though. Koss is tackled straight away. Falls to Van Dyke. Van Dyke handles Ainsworth to Pearce. Back to Van Dyke. Puts the ball on the boot. And that's the first goal on the board for the Lions. Great pressure. Created a turnover. Van Dyke with some second and third efforts gets a goal on the board. Yeah, great work by the Lions there. As you said, the pressure built up on the defenders for DROUIN. And just the weight of numbers got it inside forward 50, and certainly Scott Van Dyke knows where the goals are. And on the Harvey Norman Computers Gippsland scoreboard, we're just coming up to the 8-minute mark of the first quarter. 1 goal, 3-9. Moe leading by 8 points over DROUIN, who have kicked that 1 behind so far. So back in the middle now, and Farrell is in there up against Allison still, so DROUIN are still persisting with Big Bob McCullum at centre half forward. Just got to get the ball into him. Allison in the front spot, working hard. Axford tried to tap it their way. Crashing off the line there was Collins. Again does Farrell good work at ground level. Liam Axford is on the bottom of that pack as well, as is Jeb McLeod, one of DROUIN's new recruits. The umpire said, let's do this one again. 8.5 minutes gone. 8-point margin in favour of the Lions. They've had all the inside forward 50s. Again, Farrell over the back, just too tall. Taps it to half forward. Coming off the line was Di Virgilio. Now the handball over to Sim. He can run and carry. Handballs out wide to Grech, who gives it back to Sim. He's on 50. Left foot kick inside. Goes in the Dugan direction. At his toes. Can't pick it up. He does now. Swings back. Gets onto the left. He puts it on the right foot and tries to dribble it through. Going back, though, there is Barr for the Hawks, who gathers. He's got no option but to kick it high and to hope for the boundary. Pearce is there. Handballs backwards to Blazer. Right on 50, kicks it to the top of the square. Dugan's going to fly, one hand, couldn't mark. Sim was there, took on 3 DROUIN tacklers, and Sim is not going anywhere. And the umpire agrees. We'll ball it up, point of the square, 25 metres out. The margin is 8 points in favour of the Lions. Just peppering inside 50 the Lions as Dugan elects to take the ruck. Taps it back over his head in the corridor. Di Virgilio overruns it. Ball at a scramble. Pearce feeds a handball out, gets smothered, comes back to him, gets it back to Dugan, puts the ball on the boot, and again goes to the left-hand side of the goalpost for another minus score on the scoreboard. 9.5 minutes gone in this first term. That takes Moe to 1-4-10 on the Harvey Norman Computers Gippsland scoreboard. DROUIN still on that 1 behind 1 point.
Don't forget, switch to Optus at Harvey Norman to receive bonus FPOS gift card. Offer ends on Monday as Olsen just drives this one about 70 metres, clears it easily into the centre square. There's a fight for the footy in the middle now. No one can really run away from it. It was Axford who just stole it away. Gave a handball over to Barr. Now there's a bit of run. A quick hand. That time it came in the direction there of Harrison. Inside forward 50 it goes. It is Massis. He's got 3 to beat. He's got, it was one-on-one out there, sorry, and then a quick handball out the front of Salter. And it went over, but you're right. Druin had 3 free inside 50.
He did that
and
well.
it favoured the Lions.
Quick around the grounds for Harvey Norman Furniture. Gippsland in the AFL. It's the Kangaroos by 18 points. 4 straight 24 leading Melbourne, 1 straight 6.
Ball back into play here. This time McCullum will take the ruck work, but in the front spot was Farrell. Straight down to
maybe
Druin.
in the back, I thought that
no free kick. Morris it was getting up off the ground, and the umpire will ball it up. We're inside forward 50 for the Hawks on a rare occasion. Only the second or third time this quarter. Good work out there by Jacob Wood, who can't control the bouncing ball, and over for another boundary throw. And the breeze has picked up quite a bit now, and it is pushing across the ground from the change room side at Ted Summit and across to the South Street Primary School side of the ground. It's going to be pretty tough to kick goals from that side, Troy.
Yeah, absolutely, as we've seen so far. 1-4-4 Lions. Great tackle inside defensive 50 for Moe on Jeb McLeod for Druin, who tried to break free.
Certainly looks good, does McLeod. He attacks the ball pretty hard at it.
Yeah, getting involved early. Socket off the boot by Blazer. In front was Sim. Dribbles the ball back to Wood. Wood wheels around, gets it outside defensive 50. Long down the line to look to be Dugan.
Yep.
Diving for a mark, but the boundary line beats him. And we'll have a boundary throw in. Just the Druin side of centre wing on the south side primary school side of Ted Summerton. Boundary throw in. Morrow wrestles his opponent out of the way. Looked to be, was that McCullum or Piner? Kick forward from Druin. See that top of the 50. Looks to be Axford. Handballs the ball inside the corridor. 1-on-1 over the top. Running onto the ball nicely and hurries the ball onto the boot. He had more time than what it was. It looked to be Campbell Jolly, who's resting from the on-ball in the first 5 minutes, and he could have run into an open goal there.
Yeah, that was the one, I think, on the Harvey Norman Computers Gippsland scoreboard. He had plenty of space.
Yeah, 12-minute mark, and then it's an 8-point lead to Moe. 1-4-10. Druin 2 behinds 2 points.
Biffin has the kick-in duties for the Lions. He'll look to go to the far side, which is where the wind is pushing. He pushes it out that way, looking for Morrow, but over the back, the wind just carries that. Bob McCullum had the sun in his eyes. Worked out there, that time was over the back. Quick handball comes back in for Druin. They look into their forward 50 lines. Can't quite mark was Anderson. Falls to ground. Squeeze the handball. Anderson again. Gave it across. Quick snap over the body. Is it bouncing? I think it's the first goal this afternoon. Is it Lissack who got that one for the Hawks? Anderson's certainly celebrating. I don't think he was the one that kicked the goal. It was Fairley getting it in the end as the Hawks get their first goal, and they close the margin early.
The margin on the Harvey Norman Computers Gippsland scoreboard's back to 2 points, playing just on 13 minutes in the first quarter. Druin's first goal takes them to 1-8. Moe are sitting on 1-4-10.
Troy Makepeace, these white numbers are causing absolutely havoc with us up here in the commentary box. So we've
got the white numbers and we've got the late number changes as well, just creating chaos. Ball back in the middle. Morrow allowed to go free at it. Comes to Di Virgilio, hose a kick towards his forward 50. The scramble for the ball. Scott Van Dyke weaves his way out the back. Handballs back to Long. His kick smothered, almost bounces back to him. Di Virgilio head over the ball. Great pressure from the Hawks. Falls low tomorrow for Moe. 1-2 handball. Ends up with Sim. Sim goes inside 50, and Scott Van Dyke is working really hard across that half-forward line for the Lions and marks 45 metres out on a pretty tight angle.
Surely can't kick this.
We'll be kicking into that breeze that you're talking about too, Daryl, so it's a very tough kick. But they back themselves, the Van Dyke boys, don't they? They back themselves to kick the goals.
He just wants to get up here in the post game. As he kicks one right on 50, it's going to hold up, land short, or go real skinny, and Farrell was the one. And he's been given a free kick for holding right on the last line.
Just saw the jumper come out, the tug on the jumper as he went to mark that.
Ryan Taylor was the one who gave away the free kick down there, and he's right on the boundary. He runs in, opens it up a little bit on his right foot, and pushes it. Another minor score for the Lions. Just their radar a little bit off early on in season 2018, Paul.
And last time they played early in the season, Moe kicked 18 goals, 28 against Druin. They're at 1-5-11 at the moment, leading Druin 1-2-8 and Harvey Norman Computers Gippsland scoreboard. 14.5 minute mark first quarter.
What have you noticed early, Troy?
Moe's been pretty dominant.
Yeah.
Looks like Druin's trying to catch him under counter-attack. Moe's backline is equal to the task at this stage.
Certainly trying to take the game on, aren't they, the Hawks? Every time they get, they're trying to bring it through the middle, I think, and take it on. As Olsen, he just takes it on from fullback. Again, he gets some good meterage, gets to the middle of the ground, over the back, and they get this one, the Hawks. There's plenty of line numbers there. It's going to come back. Braganolo it was. Drives it towards half forward. But it's Jackson Cost there for the Hawks. Couldn't quite grab it on the first bounce. It allowed Moe to come in very quickly and outnumber him, but the boundary line is close as well. And it bounces over. We've got a boundary throw in inside forward 50. Well, the long kick was... Well, it was a great kick, but it was all Moe lines in the middle of the ground.
And it's been like that the last 3 or 4 kick-ins as well, as Farrell works the ball to the front of the pack. Blazer hitting it hard, gathers, runs inside, hard up on the boundary, puts the ball on the boot and misses to the near side. And we see another minor score, 1 goal 6, as we tick over 15.5 minutes into this first quarter.
Don't forget, switch to Optus at Harvey Norman to receive free a bonus FPOS gift card. Offer ends on Monday, the biggest range. Best price guaranteed at Harvey Norman Computers.
So the dominance so far from the Lions is not really showing on the scoreboard. Would that be something that Blaze will be worried about at quarter time, do you reckon, Daryl?
Yeah, I think so, absolutely. But he's to blame a little bit. He had that shot there as well. So they just want to... a lot of their shots have been in that dead pocket as they go forward again. The handball over the top. Axford's going to run onto this one on the wing. It just bounces away from him. And again, the fumble. Flicks a handball back that way to McLeod. His kick goes high. No one at half forward. Standing underneath it was Pearce, who dropped the mark that he probably should have taken. He was up to it, though. Gave it back to Wood. Quick kick there was Prestige. He kicks it high down the line looking for Farrell. Couldn't mark, but it bounced up nicely to him. Handball over the top. Fleming was there. Got tackled by McCullum. He ducked his head and the umpire said play on. And now it goes over for a boundary throw-in. Well, Big Bob now is in the middle of the ground as he just jogs away from this contest again. I thought finally the change had been made, but no, he goes forward again.
Boundary throw-in, Allison and Morrow comes to the back of that contest. Working nicely is Fleming. Feeds the ball out the back to Braganolo. Handballs to Wood. Wood takes on his opponent. Good pressure there. Has to handball inside to Stanley. Waits, gathers, runs on the attacking side of the centre circle. Looking wide to Dugan. Marks strongly out in front. Geez, he did that well because he jumped early, but he took the ball at the highest point. And Marks on a 45-degree angle, 45 metres out. Mitch Stanley coming off the half-back flank.
What about the afterburners from Stanley? Old Swan Lake just darting across half-back.
Well, if he's looking at his predecessors, he would know to hang this out to the right-hand side and let the wind bring it back. He does just that. Kick. Works the ball back nicely. Does Ash Dugan. Gets a second goal on the board for the Lions.
Well called there, Troy. Exactly. He'd been off a little bit. He had 2 shots on goal for minor scores, but that one, he adjusted nicely. The breeze from right to left was a perfect one, and he turned around to the big crowd of the can bar and said, finally, I've got one on the board.
And on the Harvey Norman Computers Gippsland scoreboard, Moe take a 10-point lead at the 17-minute mark of the first quarter. The Lions at 2-6-18, leading Druin 1 goal 2-8.
Well, there is your Gippsland live goal of the day so far this afternoon. Adjusted very nicely to Ash Dugan after, as you said, Troy, a very, very strong mark. 45 metres out from goal. I
thought he almost jumped too early when he came out to lead for that one, but he just sort of hung in the air long enough to take the ball at the highest point and slot truly as the ball's back in the middle.
So Allison will go up against Morrow on this occasion. Goes out wide. That was Blazer working hard, an underground handball, but he has a free kick off the ball that goes to Blazer. Right in the middle, he goes to that far side again. Ainsworth is out there. Couldn't quite mark. Good spoil. Over the back there is Piner. Quick kick goes forward, goes towards the wing. He's got 2 to beat, does the big ruckman in Allison. They're a bit agile out there. Biffin was good. Gave it to Wood, who gave the 1-2 back to Biffin. Delivery is beautiful out there to Van Dyke. That's Scott. Comes in board. Beautiful kick. And he finds his brother in Jaden, who swings around. Right foot, 1-on-1. Dugan's going to fly at the spoil in the end. Front and square. Great work there by Prestige. Swooped on it. Couldn't quite get it. Good tackle by Piner. Great shepherd from Oz. And allows his teammate...
Black dress with the tights underneath. I got the breath of a last cigarette on my teeth. And she's an actress, but she ain't got no need. She's got money from her parents in a trust fund back east. Tongues always pressed to your cheeks, while my tongue is on the inside of some other girl's teeth. You tell your boyfriend, if he says he's got beef, that I'm a vegetarian and I ain't scared of him.
She wants to touch me, she wants to love me, she'll never leave me. Don't trust her, never trust her.
Off this one nicely. Straight over the goal umpire's head for Moe's third. 12 inside 50s, resulting in 9 scoring shots. Only 3 goals, unfortunately, for the Lions, but they are dominant so far and stretch their margin out to 16 points.
And that's on the Harvey Norman Computers Gippsland scoreboard. 20-minute mark first quarter. Moe 3-6-24 are leading Druin 1-2-8.
So down there on Dugan is Sam Piner. He's had his hands full down there. As Jaden Van Dyke was very good on that occasion as well. Just we thought he was going to be the option, but allowed Dugan to come across, and in the end, when those balls come in,
the pressure is too much.
Yeah, it is. And they panic, and they've given away another one. So Big Bob now goes in the middle of the ground. Greg was out there, gave it to Sim, who was all on his own on the wing. Nice one to Morrow. He sweeps one out to Wood. Gave it back to Greg. He kicks to half forward. Pearce takes the mark, 60 metres out from goal, and that bottom side will swing around. Does Pearce. He's usually beautiful kick. There's 2. Dugan this time drops it. It was right in front of his eyes, but he kept his feet, Dugan. He gave away the free kick. And Sam Piner will have his time to take his breath as he wins his free kick. Piner went to play on. He gave a handball, a tough one to Olsen. He was up to it though, and Olsen just had to kick a mongrel drop punt out wide high. No one in particular except for Swan Lake out there. Gathered it, got it towards the top of the 50. Big crash, that's a free kick, is it Ryan Taylor there for the Hawks. Relieves some pressure, gets it out wide. But again, they go to the resting ruckman in Allison, and it's a 3-on-1. And of course the 3 always win out, and Stanlake switches it up, gets it out wide to Lachlan Reese, who was in his defensive 50. He pushes it back out further afield to Charlie Rennett, who certainly has dropped some kgs. Nearly unrecognisable out there as Rennett's. However, he does still have the blonde locks. Great little roving work. This time it's Darnell Grech who runs. Afterburners are on to Sim. Gave it to Blazer. 51. Blazer delivery. Dugan drops the mark. Ainsworth runs onto the top of the square. Couldn't quite get it. Great work by the Hawks on this occasion was Salter. He kicks it out wide and found his target out where there in Tom Barr.
Barr marks outside his defensive 50, half-back flank for Druin. This time he tries to measure his kick inside the corridor. That's better. A nice pass. Finds Anderson. Anderson wheels around on his left. Bob McCullum working hard both ways. Marks. Plays on. Goes inside 50 on the left. Working hard down there is Allison leading Rennett to the ball. Rennett overtakes him though. Allison keeps it in. Handballs the ball back in to his teammate there. Just can't quite pick up who it is. Falls out to Salter.
DRFM is
The biggest hits.
Hold me close and I won't leave, 'cause it hurts when you hurt somebody.
CRFM.
I chance to hold you close and to change things, but don't give up, 'cause we got love.
The line was very good, and just watching Peter Ainsworth. He might be getting on a little bit in age, but gee, just continues to run as a quick snap from this stoppage from Van Dyke. Goes deep into the goal line, it bounces up and it's going to go over for a minor score. But Peter Ainsworth, he took off from about half back and the Druin guys just couldn't go with him, and he just kept pushing into the forward 50. He looked dangerous at one stage. Again, the turnover. Blazer swoops on the kick out from full back, puts it on the left boot, and we've got 2 minor scores within 30 seconds. Paul Carter, give us a score update.
And that's a 18-point lead to Murray, who have kicked 3-8-26 on the Harvey Norman Computers Gippsland score. Druin 1-2-8, coming up to the 24-minute mark of this first term.
So Jackson Koss will be the one who will bring it in for the Hawks. Moe setting up a traditional zone.
Well, if I was Moe, I'll be flooding about 20 metres inside the square on the defensive side. Going to make a fool out of it. Touch, play on, says the umpire. Pressure comes. Could be a free kick. A bit aggressive in the tackle there, putting pressure on was Van Dyke. As Druin relieve the pressure, go wide to Olsen. Still deep inside his defensive 50. Plays on. Pressure comes again. Can't get a clear clearance.
Morris.
Now the turnover. Morris through the middle to McCullum. Handballs inside to Axford, who's had his jumper torn. Free over the top is Allison. Can the ball sit for him? It can. Does now. It's not Allison, it's Guy. Guy runs in, kicks the goal, sneaks it inside the right-hand goal post, and that's Drouin's second coast to coast there for the Hawks.
Great work in the middle of the ground there by Morris and also Bob McCullum. And as you said, Axford, who's had his jumper nearly ripped off, but quick ball movement through the middle. They want to take the game on. They want to go through the middle of the ground.
And the Harvey Norman Computers Gippsland scoreboard finds Moe 12-point leaders at the 25-minute mark of the first quarter. The Lions 3-8-26, leading Drouin, who are now 2-2-14.
But Daryl, it's almost to the point where they put themselves under pressure and they can't get any clearance, like to a player that's free maybe, as McCullum works the ball back nicely, finds his teammate there in Axford, gets a quick clearance inside 50, pressure comes, Stanlake has to run and retrieve, knocks the ball outside defensive 50, Harry Sim knocked off the ball there by Barr. Sim goes back for a tackle, tackles too high, Barr the recipient on the boundary, wheels around, gets to the top of the foot, the umpire calls him back.
He said, look at me.
Going to go behind the mark, which is there now, 70 metres out from goal. McCullum puts the jukes up, says, kick it to me.
I'd go
He goes in that direction. McCullum sets himself and marks strongly in front, 35 metres out, 45-degree angle, kicking into the breeze to the scoreboard end, but this to reduce the margin back to 6 points and be thereabouts for the Hawks going into the quarter-time break.
The last 5 minutes have been really positive for the Hawks, but just on that point you make before, Troy, you're exactly right. They're trying to come in the middle, but sometimes I think they're just picking the wrong time. Will they work that out as Bob McCullum, the distance, no worries, starts at left, they like it, and it goes through the middle, and the Hawks have got two in a row, and they do narrow the gap late in the first quarter.
And on the Harvey Norman Computers Gippsland scoreboard, it is a 6-point lead to Murray, 26-minute mark first quarter. McCullum's goal takes Drouin to 3-2-20. They're trailing Murray, who are 3-8-26.
26 and a half minute mark of the first quarter. And a big Bob McCullum's in the middle of the ground. Can they get another clearance out of there?
Another goal here will make it very interesting. Obviously, will square the scores up.
Well, Moe have dominated the first quarter.
And it's just been the last 2.5, 3 minutes where it's been Drouin. And it's since McCullum has gone in the middle. Wins the ball. Clears it out to Axford. Axford handballs over the top. Looks to find Salt. It goes inside 50. Stanley pushes his man out.
Morris it is.
Gives away the free kick. Morris
No, they've called that a mark. They've paid the mark to Stanley.
I thought he signalled a push in the back.
I agree.
But no, he's just saying that's where the mark is. Stanley goes inside the corridor. Dangerous. McCullum drops a sitter, what he should have taken. Prestige puts the pressure on. Falls to Axford. Goes inside 50 for the Hawks. Comes over the top. 3-on-1. Is Guy again. Weaves around. Handballs back. Finds Craig. Craig puts the ball on the boot. But working back there is Stanley, and the umpire says that just dribbled out for a boundary throw-in, so still the pressure on for the Hawks. Can they get a late goal and square it up? 26 apiece going into quarter time, or can the Lions defence hold strong?
Well, they've set up a bit of a wall, have the Hawks, and Moe match them up now. Inside there was Farrell, put it straight down to the toes. Coming through was Morris, at a bit of pace but couldn't go anywhere. And we'll have a ball up as Blazer and Morris. They're two fantastic footballers that we have in the TRFM Gippsland League in season 2018. We'll get another stoppage inside forward 50. Again, drops down. There's a pack of players around this one. Morris this time putting the tackle on. And again, not going anywhere. And we'll repeat the action of a ball up inside forward 50 late in the first quarter. 6-point margin favours the Lions here over Drouin. High goes Farrell. Blazer was good in the clinches. Got a handball out wide. Guy, though, just fumbled it.
Craig,
sorry, it was. You're right. And
similar.
that has been the issue, I think, for me, for the Hawks. They've just been 2-3 touch-type players at the moment. And Moe have been just a little bit cleaner. Maybe that's round one nerves. Unfamiliar territory. As the ball comes back into play, clears the two ruckman. Big tap over the top. They're trying to clear the area. Ainsworth of pace runs to the defensive 50. Gets it out wide. Van Dijk in front. Going hard out there was Miller. Miller turns Van Dijk around. He gets on the right foot. Delivers a nice one. And hits Barr, his teammate for the Hawks up. Comes back inboard looking for Craig. And finds him. True centre wing of the Ted Sullivan Reserve. Craig chips one over the top. Poor kick. But Fleming couldn't mark it. He just ran underneath it. Morris goes to attack it, as does Braganolo for the Lions. And over for a boundary throw-in. 29.5 minutes gone. The margin 6 points for the Lions.
Just basic skill errors letting them down there, Drouin, when they look to be away. An easy target miss. results in one less inside 50, and just keeps the pressure off the lines as McCullum works him out.
Good tap.
Dribbles inside 50, leading the race back there is
Biffin it was.
Biffin.
Yep.
His name escaping. Good pressure again from the Lions, not allowing Druin any easy ball out. Comes to Fleming, he fumbles this time. Now the pressure's coming. It works out to Morris, shrugs off a tackle. Handballs to McCullum on the boundary line, on his left. Just misses to the near side, and we'll see the margin reduced to 5 points. It's been all Druin in this last 5 minutes as we've just ticked over 30 minutes into this first quarter.
Paul, inside 50s in the last quarter, this first quarter.
15 to Murray, 11 to Druin, but the last 6 are all Druin.
Well, they get it outside 50 to the Lions. Fleming was out there. Nice handball out to Sim, allowed him to get onto their right foot. Delivery is just off, and missing the target there was Van Dyke, and it goes over in front of him for a boundary throw-in. I think the Lions would take this, I think the Hawks would take this, Troy. 30 minutes gone,
absolutely.
5 point margin.
Jordan King will be very happy with the boys at quarter time as Farrell's allowed free rein at it.
There's the siren.
Siren goes,
and
30 and a half minutes gone.
Moe, 3 goals, 8-26 in the first quarter. Druin a 3-3 at 21. It was actually Dugan for the Lions. He was a little bit off early with 2 minor scores and then got 2 majors in the first quarter. While all singles for the Hawks. The guy was one of those, McCullum, and Reece Farley was the other one. It's a 5 point margin at quarter time in round 1, and it is for the Moe Lions. And it's Gippsland Live right here on TRFM. He's wrong in that first quarter, Paul, or is it
I'm just saying, combination of not knowing the players and white numbers on a yellow background makes it hard to identify.
To make it worse.
Quick question before the second quarter starts, boys. Would you stick with Allison in the middle, or would you go back with Bob McCullum? Because I noticed a definite change when McCullum went on ball.
Yeah, absolutely. But I guess 5 points, if they can manage it a little bit better, maybe have a couple of stints, not just the one stint that he did have this time. But exactly right. Farrell got the hands on it. Blazer tried to run on it. He got tackled when he didn't have the football, and he's won himself a free kick in the middle of the ground. As Campbell Jolly gave it away, the kick goes inside 50, or not quite there for Blazer. Wood has it, handballs across to Pearce. He gets it out wide to Sim. Sim hard up on the boundary line. Left foot checks his kick. Dugan comes. Great spoil by behind from Piner. And Van Dyke was there. Little handball to the left, and then comes back to the right. Sim gave it across to Pearce. First shot on goal. Pearce has 2 goals in the Moe Lions outfit. That's his first. He missed his first shot on goal. But that's the way you start. Good work by Pearce.
And that takes out to a 11-point lead, 33-second mark of the second quarter, and we're on the Greenham Gippsland scoreboard for the second quarter. Moe 4-8-32, leading Druin 3-3-21.
Troy, I forgot that he missed that first shot on goal.
I think you're talking about that chiselling pass that he did inside 50 to Dugan in that first quarter. It was just as good as a goal, wasn't it? Although I think Dugan missed it. Let's not get the truth getting away with a good story. There's a ball back in the middle. Farrell and Allison. Farrell again works the ball down. Grec overruns it. Comes to Guy. Guy clears, but it ends up with Biffin to Stanlake. Half-back flank for the Lions. Stanlake misses his target in Maceese. The ball runs on. Ainsworth attacks it. Farrell follows up his work. Great handball over the top. Ends up with Maceese. He's got a player in Fleming over the top. Half-forward flank for the Lions. Going inside 50 on the left. Looking for Dugan. Has to stop and check his run. Comes over the back to Tommy Long. Gathers. Breaks one tackle. Does 15 U-turn. Snaps it over the top. Dugan marks. Top of the goal square. Slams it through for his third. And a great second goal there for the Lions. 1.5, 3/4 minutes into this second term.
Well, I know that he's a fantastic player, but Tommy Long, does anyone want to go near him? He had about 15 U-turns because he had all the time in the world. He just mesmerised the Druin defenders, and his 5-metre kick landed in the hands of Dugan, who snapped it over his shoulder. Dugan's on fire.
Dugan's kicked 3 of Moe's 5 goals, and we're only at the 2-minute mark of the second quarter. The Greenham Gippsland scoreboard reading a 17-point lead to Moe, 5-8-38 to Druin, 3-3-21.
I think this is where you make a quick change, Troy. You bring Bob in for a 5-minute spell just to stem the tide, break even in the middle, because at the moment they are winning the centre clearances at will. Especially when they've done so well in that first quarter, Druin.
To get back to
the 5 points, and now all of a sudden they've just slammed on 2. I'd make the quick change. The ball's gone over the back of the net here at Ted Summit Reserve, so we've got a little bit of a break. If Jordan King is listening, get him out there. Maybe make the move now.
Should have left the headset with him.
Yeah, we should have.
When we spoke to him prior to the game.
Well, Dylan Farrell has had 15 hit-outs to date, and they've all been scored when Bob McCullum's been off the ball. And I think we made the point really early in the quarter. is that the time to move McCallum out of the forward line and
I think it is.
into negate Farrell, because they're similar heights?
You
And
see
what you
McCallum
find-
out there?
He is very much out there.
That's just the
Just
question.
trying to find him.
No, McCallum's on the bench.
Oh, there
He
you
came
go.
to the bench after quarter time break.
Well, maybe there might be something in that, perhaps.
Well, let's hope there isn't, because he's been fantastic for the Hawks so far in this game. He's on the bench, as Paul mentioned.
What this allows now for Moe to do, they can be really attacking in the midfield. You could put on a couple of blocks. I wouldn't be surprised to see whoever the nominated player is, if it's Greg or even Blazer is the one on the move, and Blazer's the one.
Right on
He
cue.
quickly tackled, got his foot going forward. Pierce was there, just taps it out nicely. Coming the other way, though, was Olsen. Picked off there by Wood. Got a high tackle. Play on, said the umpire. Crashing back in. Morris it was, trying to get in under. Working hard at ground level. There's a free kick for the Hawks, as
Might be Jolly.
Farrell was just a little bit overzealous there. And I think it is Jolly in the middle of the ground who gets his right foot, goes short, and gets it out wide now. Looking for a target. Here is Pierce. Couldn't quite mark it. Comes to ground. He has to go again, does Pierce. He's got Moe everywhere. Allison it was all around him. Then the quick kick by Stanley goes to half forward. Cos allows to run on it. Left foot kick. Goes inside forward 50. Over the top of the head. Coming out to meet it on that occasion. This time it was Farley. He gave a handball backward. Falls back now into Reece Farley's hands. He gets it over the top, but Blazer's working nicely back in for the defence for the Lions. Relieves some pressure as they kick it out. Lachlan Reese. It's going to come back. Cross has a couple to beat. Whacks it on his boot. Now the Hawks have 3 to beat in the middle. One of those is Sim, who can gather the ball. Handball over the top, Fleming. Now he's got it under a little bit of pressure. Good work by Olsen to kick it forward. Now the support comes. It's bouncing around. Cost does well. Falls to ground. The umpire said a free kick, as Sim is going to win himself the free kick in the middle of the ground. Troy Makepeace.
Defensive side of the centre circle. Sim elects to go wide to Blazer. Umpire has deemed no, again off the ball. Sees 50-metre penalty.
We've got a bit going on here,
favour
boys,
of
as well.
Moe. There's Jacob Wood getting in amongst it, as is Josh Pearce, and just trying to pick up as who that might have been against Lassick in the middle of the ground there. The result being Harry Sim's going to line up for goal. 45, 50 metres out, almost directly in
Gives
front.
a lot of space in the forward 50.
Van Dyke makes a lead. Druin get numbers back. Sim, helicopter punt, goes top of the square, clears the all, but must have been a fingernail on the ball there as Touchton goes through for a minor score as Moe tick over to double figures on the behind.
Almost 6-minute mark, second quarter. The Greenham Gippsland scoreboard sees an 18-point lead to Moe.
Hey, chip it in, and a quick
Close.
kick there by Morris. Goes out wide. Nice little mark out there. Is it Olsen or is it Anderson, who look very similar out there, and I won't say why. As a quick little kick comes inboard. Under enormous pressure, Collins, good, strong tackle, and the umpire said you threw that one. And Bryce Collins, the tackling machine, wins himself a free kick in the middle of the ground. The margin is 18 points in favour of Moe at the moment. That's round 1 of the TRFM Gippsland League. Collins goes out wide, looking for Ainsworth, who couldn't mark or gather, and over for a boundary throw-in. Collins just missing the target on that occasion. Would you like to see him come the other direction, Troy?
Yeah, the wind is naturally taking the ball out to that far side, so let's bring it near side and to the space. Farrell works to the front, gets a nice tap down to Ainsworth. He's tackled immediately and deemed to a legal disposal.
Barr is the one. Free kick.
Been a bit quiet is Tom Barr for the Hawks. He's on the half-back flank on the outer side. He's going to go on the left, wide to the boundary, hugging the boundary too much, and it goes over for a free kick against in front of Reece Salter. Is going long down the line of the line. Scott Van Dyke works the ball to the front. Collins there, as is Ainsworth. Working the ball back there is Tommy Barr. Scrambles a kick forward. Looking there is Salter again attacking the ball. Jacob Wood puts his head over it for the Lions. Gets it inside to Stanley.
Good kick.
Switches to the corridor. A nice block off the ball. Sees Olsen can't get to the contest. As Jaden Van Dyke plays on quickly to Blazer. Blazer's kick smothered. Nice work there for the Hawks. They're away here. Falls out to Eddie Morris on a wing. Has to sit and wait underneath it. Macice gets back. Calling for a teammate to work up to him.
Good kick,
Looks to be he's at Piner.
Anderson.
No, Anderson. Marks 70 metres out. Waiting for numbers to work back as all their numbers are up the ground. Directs the ball. He's going to go long. Goes long and wide. Working back there is Charlie Reynolds. Good spoil over the back. as Braganolo is assisting there. And it goes over in front of Nathan Guy there for the Hawks. 20 metres around from goal inside Drouin's forward 50.
Just the different kicks with Morris. Beautiful kick to Anderson, and Anderson's kick was just a little bit too high for the leading forward. As McCullum inside forward 50 works his opponent underneath it, but Wood for the Lions comes the other way, gathers it, kicks it high towards the wing, looking for Dugan, who was just ran underneath the football. Olsen goes back, wins it, does a short little kick. True centre wing right in front of us here on the grandstand side, and Michael Lissack marks, comes inboard to Jackson Koss. He can go further inboard. Nice little neat kick. Found his teammate in Axford. He goes further afield. Out there it was Wayne Morris, who kicks a right foot down towards the half forward, but picking that one off is Ainsworth for the Lions. Comes inboard to Collins on the half-back flank as the Lions lead it by 18 points.
Looking to switch the play. Got numbers out on the opposite half-back flank. One of them there is his coach in blazer. Waits for Biffin to run. Pressure comes from Morris. Nice work. Biffin's equal to the task. Handballs over to the top to Van Dyke. Taking a diving backwards mark there is Jacob Wood. Hard up on the boundary. Half-forward flank. Wheels around. Looking to go inside 50. Takes on his opponent. Goes back onto the left. Looking for Dugan. Works his body well nicely. Gathers at ground level. Can't. Good pressure there. Scott Van Dyke. Works the ball. Takes the hit. Handball's inside. Looking for Farrell at the top of the 50.
Free kick to Van Dyke.
Free kick to Van Dyke behind. Did you see that one, did you, Darryl?
Just as he got rid of the football, they got him high. He put the hard work on and he won the free kick. He played on quickly, but the umpire said, no, let's bring this back. He did the hard work and he got the rewards.
So he's got to go back behind his mark because he was inside the corridor a bit more. Umpire sets the mark at 46 metres. So Scott Van Dyke will be kicking from just on or just outside 50. Will have the breeze on his left shoulder. Gets to the 50, just tips it to the top of the square. Working back there is Farrell and beats all over the top and goes out for a boundary throw in. Hard up on the behind post on the other side of the ground. Inside 50 for the Lions.
A quick around the ground scores thanks to Harvey Norman Furniture in the A-grade netball, which is a great game. And it is Drouin leading 27 to Moe 24 as the ball comes back into play here on the football park.
Goes over the back of the ruckman, ends up with Pearce, fumbles, gathers, fumbles again, turnover. Hawks have the pressure on them. Fleming gathers, work ball outside 50. Stanlake hurries a kick inside 50. Olsen can't gather at the half volley. He's tackled without the ball, and umpire says play on as he's pleading for a free kick.
Did ask the question. Probably
the ball was
legitimate
about
question.
5 metres away.
True.
Driven into the ground. 30 metres out directly in front. We have a ball up. McCullum knocks the ball forward. Fleming tries to work in, as does Collins. Tackled straight away. And umpire says you took the player on. And holding the ball decision goes against, was it Collins?
Yep. To Barr. So Barr won the free kick, comes out wide now to Wayne Morris, who quickly gets it further out wide, looking for David Miller, who has to fly at the back now. Miller over the top and long. He's got 3 to beat. Good work by Miller. Axford now has it. Handballs across to Lissack. He comes further backwards to his teammate. He comes to Axford again. Close on the boundary line. Little kick goes sideways. Missed Miller. Has to work hard, does Morris. They get it through. 1-2. Great pressure by the Lions. Barr's in there. The Lions keep their feet. They jump on top of Barr. And the umpire says, ball it up. Well, in a space of about 25 metres circular radius, I guess, they couldn't get anywhere, and the Lions' defence was very strong to hold them up on centre wing.
It's great pressure as Farrell climbs over the top of McCullum. It goes down to Axford, though. Hurry kick forward. Finds Eddie Morris starting to get into the play. That's a lovely kick to his half-forward flank. Finds McLeod. McLeod goes inside 50. Renneth gets a good spoiler. Working back nicely is Stanlake. Great smother. Great work there by Miller. Salter, sorry. Pressure on for the Hawks. Falls out. Now that's Salter. Gathers on the left. Snaps it around the corner.
Great
goes
goal.
through for a goal. Great pressure work.
They're calling it touch.
From the Hawks.
Harrison Prestige calling touched out
I can't
there.
see it being turned over as the goal umpire didn't call it.
Nope.
They're going to be relying. It's going to be all clear.
It sure is. He waits and waits.
And waiting.
He builds the suspense nicely to the goal umpire, but in the end, it was all clear, and Reece Salter was the one who put it through, Troy.
Great work. Great forward 50 pressure. It might not have been Salter that got the smother, but it might have been Guy as it fell out to Salter. A nice snap left foot kick as Moe looked to be away on the outside of the ground.
And the Green and Gippsland scoreboard at the 12-minute mark of the second quarter. sees a 12-point lead to Moa, who are 5-9-39. Druin 4-3-27.
So Bob's now in the ruck for the Hawks up against Morrow. You'd expect McCallum to win this one with a... Gets high, he does, taps it over the back though, trying to run on it with Morris, just taps it in front, great work by Prestige. Over to Blazer, who gave it to Darnell Grech. His kick goes high, one-on-one on the goal square. Dugan will fly, he went up about 5 minutes too early, comes to ground, Van Dyke, that was Scott, handballs to his brother in Jaden, gets back, left foot shot on goal, it's high, it's going, and it's through the middle, and within 30 seconds the Lions respond.
Great response there for the Lions, and it really started from the middle, as it was James Blazer in there, just clean with his hands, handled the ball over the top to Greg, a quick inside 50, and great work at ground level from Scott Van Dyke to Jaden Van Dyke. How many times have they done that in the backyard, do you reckon?
Absolutely, plenty of times. The Greenham Gippsland scoreboard. Don't forget your local Aussie-owned processor. Solid jobs available at Greenham Meatworks.
Back out to an 18-point lead to Moa, who are 6-9-45. Druin 4-3-27.
So again, McCallum in the ruck against Morrow. McCallum taps it down, nice little tap. Worked his play underneath, it was Axford, goes and gets it. Got tackled high, play onto the umpire. The ball gets to half forward for the Lions. Morrow picks it up, had a fresh airy. And the umpire said that's holding the ball. Jackson Koss will be the one. He has. Kick was smothered though, and it's going to come back inside forward 50 for the Lions. As Blazer put it in there, Pearce gave it, tried to get it to Blazer, who missed. Morrow with brute strength ran through and drew a defender, then gave up the handball. Great tackle by Scott Van Dyke. They're under pressure. The Hawks relieve, kicks it out. It's going to no one. Oh, good contest on the wing as Biffin got over the top of Reece Solder. And Biffin drives a low drop punt inside forward 50, and Pearce coming across the pack. Josh takes the mark directly in front.
What do you reckon, Darryl? I like the way he moves. His second and third efforts have been really good. He's a great key target for them. He's got great ball use, as we've seen in the first quarter. Let's see if his goal kicking is up to scratch.
He's got one.
Got one inside 30 seconds. This one from a set shot.
Oh,
that's a shocker.
Shank, I think you call those, Troy.
I think shank's looking a bit nice, as that missed the behind post by about 10 metres and goes out of bounds on the full. As Druin looked to work the ball back in through
Piner. That's a poor kick as well. Lucky it bounced inside the field of play first and then trickled out of bounds. So we've got a boundary throw in. Paul Carter, anything alarming from a stat perspective in this second quarter?
James Blazer's out to 15 disposals for the match, along with 6 clearances, so he's really leading from the front.
And Morris, just I think they're sort of running with each other a little bit, but...
Morris, I've got it as 8 at the moment, but I might be a little unkind to him.
Give another handball, head to Blazer, as he got it out towards Sims, Stanlake in the middle, tried to get around 1 or 2, then just flicked a handball and hoped. Koss was there, good work this time. That was by Lassick. And then a kick comes out wide and found Dave Olsen on the defensive 50. Chips it over the top. Prestige tried to spoil, does really well. Biffin was there to help. Handballs inboard to Jaden Van Dyke. Back to Prestige, who just took his eyes off the football as Axford was closing. And he gathered and got wrapped up in a tackle. Got to keep your eye on the football as you're running through, as Axford was closing on on Prestige.
That's right. Ruckman coming in to contest, half forward flank for the Lions. McCallum works Morrow under the ball, falls to Blazer, handballs over the top to Pearce, can't get it back to Blazer. Lassick worked off the ball. DiVigilio handballs to nobody but Lassick puts a ball on the boot for a barrel. 2-on-1. Rennett's misread the ball, falls over the back to Braganolo, got time, great pressure, great tackle. And rewarded for the tackle is Reece Fairley. There's 70 metres out from goal, right on the boundary line.
No one's on the mark.
He can play on. He does just that. Gets to 60, kicking the ball to the top of the square, but no one there for the Hawks. And Harry Sim will have time and space to run this outside defensive 50 and clear for the Lions.
Gets it out wide, looking for a teammate out there, and Scott Van Dyke. Good work by the Druin defenders there. That was Craig, comes inboard. Now he gets it across to Jeb McLeod, the recruit. Nice little kick out wide. He's going to go hard. Does Reece Salter, and he takes a nice mark with a couple of defenders closing. Salter's wobbly kick. It's going to come off. Is it? Farley's out there. And it just drops at his toes and goes over in front of the can bar. And Ted Summers reserve for a boundary throw-in.
It's just a couple of times, hasn't it, where they look to be out and away and they just a missed handball or a missed kick.
That's all it is.
Between going inside 50 or a result in being a boundary throw-in.
Absolutely. This is where, in the first quarter, Druin started to get a bit of inside forward 50 pressure. It's the 18-minute mark. It's an 18-point margin. If Druin can close a glink again prior to half-time, they'd be happy with their first half. But this is the challenge.
as they've been outscored 3-1 in this second quarter. Have they got another little big effort as it comes out now, this time to Harrison? He gets around one or two. A right foot snap is on its way, but it's away for a minor score. It did go over the line, and we have a minor score. Paul Carter.
4-4-28, Druin's score on the Green and Gippsland scoreboard. They trail by 17 points. Moe 6-9-45, 18-minute mark, second term.
Let's have a look at their defensive structures, Troy. Just quickly looking, they might be a little bit too far up the ground, inside 50 with this breeze. There's Biffin.
Two on one out wide. Biffin goes that way.
Over the zone.
Dragonolo and Stanlake. Dragonolo over the back. Working back there nicely was Salter, and going to see this ball out for a boundary throw in 70 metres around from goal. Good result there for the Hawks.
Absolutely, they can reset. It's one-on-ones forward of 54, Moe.
They look so much better when McCullum's in the ruck, boys.
Absolutely. Again, McCullum will go up against Morrow, who wins it. Knocked it inside forward 50, then had a fresh airy. A quick kick from Drouin goes inside forward 50 from Harrison, close to the boundary line. And again, another boundary throw in. As Darnell Grech comes and has a well-earned break, and Collins goes on. Can they get a goal from the stoppage, the Hawks? They're 17 points adrift at the moment. They've been good without being great. And great little tap that time to Morris. His left foot shot, though, was across the body, and Rennett's read this one. How's that for a tap from Big Bob McCullum?
Bob McCullum to Eddie Morris.
Yeah, that's what you want to see if you're a Druins fan. As Rennett's wobbly torpedo went about 75 metres without being touched. It's got the centre wing. But the Hawks have got some pace back there. This time it comes to Lissack. Goes inboard. Twisting and turning was Jeb McLeod. They get it inboard. Axford was there. Tries to sweep a handball out there to the run of Jess Craig. Now it is Tommy Barr. Delivers inside forward 50. The big ruckman Allison got crunched from behind. Now they try and hit handball in was Salter. Top of the 50 they are for the Hawks. In there working hard was Stanlake for the Lions, who chips his kick to Ainsworth. Play on to the umpire. Great work by Collins. He got ran down from behind, but the kick might come off. Good work by Tommy Long. Just backpedals, does nicely. Gets it towards Farrell. His kick goes towards half forward. Jaden Van Dyke and Scott Van Dyke are there. This is Scott. Picks it up. Good tackle by Barr. He looked for holding the ball. The umpire said play on. As a quick tackle there on James McKellar. And we're going to ball up inside forward 50 for the Lions.
I have been of absolute no use to you in trying to point out who these guys are, have I, Daryl? As we have a ball up 45 metres out from goal, as McCullum says, no, Farrell didn't nominate. Farrell says, yes, I did. Both ruckmen are going to go at it.
Oh.
McCullum tries to hack it out of mid-air. Putting his head over the ball looks to be Scott Van Dyke, tackles straight away. And we'll have another ball up from where the original one was. It was Bryce Collins, my apologies. As Axford also one of the last to get up. Again, ruckman go at it. McCullum has a jump at it, tries to clear the area, does just that, falls to Sim though, weaves inside to Farrell, to Fleming, wheels back around on the left, top of the 50, gets it inside 50, Dugan sets himself, Ainsworth stays down at ground level.
Smart.
Oh,
how smart is he?
Read it well, saw that Dugan was going to put the pressure on at the top of the square there, and it fell to his feet and dribbled it through for Moe's 7th of the game.
Which on the Green and Gippsland scoreboard takes Moe to a match-high 23-point lead, 21-minute mark of the second quarter. Moe 7-9-51, a leading Druin 4-4-28.
You could see that unfurling a long way out as Ainsworth just knew that Dugan was going to cause a contest, and that's all that he wanted his key forward to do, because he read it beautifully, stayed down and swooped on it, and now he goes to the wing and no one's on him at all. Do they know who Peter Ainsworth is, Druin? Someone man the guy up. It's going to come out to the wing. He's going to get this one, is Ainsworth. Fleming was there. He said, I'm going to take this one. Now Fleming gives it to Wood, and Ainsworth puts a nice shepherd on for Wood to run on. Left foot kick in front of Barr, goes towards the forwards. Olsen comes in. No one can mark it. Good work there. Axford works hard. Swooping on it, though, is Tommy Long. Sweeps a handball to Harry Sim, who has a flying shot at goal. And the build-up was good, the execution was poor. Minor score, 22 and a half minutes gone. The Green and Gippsland scoreboard sees Moe 7-10-52, Druin a 4-4-28.
Olsen chips the ball over the top, finds Axford. Axford marks as Dugan covers that mark. He's only 20 metres out from goal, goes wide, finds Lassick. Lassick in his deep in the back pocket as Moe's press has not allowed them free exit. Lassick goes wide. finds McKellar. McKellar chips the ball over the top to Morris. They're still inside defensive 50. As this time they're not helter-skelter going forward, as they're being far more measured. Morris looking to find a chiselling pass out wide, hugging the boundary, and Lassick runs the ball over for a boundary throw-in on the half-back flank for the Hawks. 23 minutes gone in this second quarter, 24-point margin in favour of Moe. As the ruckmen set themselves, Morrow up in the ruck now as Farrell works forward. McCallum worked under the ball by Morrow.
Push out.
And receives a free kick for a push out. Good call, Darryl. As McCallum's going to relieve the pressure for the Hawks. Looking inside the corridor. Chiselling pass, misses the target. Collins can't gather. Morris can. Wheels around. Feeds the ball back to McKellar. To Taylor, sorry. Taylor misses his target. Turnover. Stanlake, half-forward flank. Hurried ball inside 50. Dugan reads the ball off the boot, but can't read the ball through the air. It's a big floater. Just misjudged it. And dribbles for a boundary throw-in. Hard up on the boundary behind post in Moe's 50.
Big moment thanks to Monticello's. Don't forget Peroni Nastro slab or case of $36.99. The big moment has been the last couple of minutes of the game. They haven't been able to close the gap, have DROUIN. And this margin, as we said, gets out to a game-high 24 points in favour of the Lions as they press again. Farrell nearly took it out of the ruck. Good work by Barr, though. His kick, again, missing targets. They come back inboard. Dangerous kick. But lucky Morris was there, and he took the mark. Well, directly in front if he'd be having a shot, but he's coming out of his defensive 50. That kick could be a turnover. It's going to come back in. Van Dijk gave it across to Farrell, who will kick around his body. Last line defence, McKellar back there for the Hawks, who marks 24.5 minutes have gone. It's an 24-point margin.
Low kick.
Again.
Good pressure by Scott Van Dijk. Turns the ball over. Farrell gathers. Takes too long. Has to hurry his handball. Ends up with Olsen busting his way through the packs. That might have been Morris. And Morris feeds the ball back to Barr. Barr goes long and wide outside defensive 50 and completely misjudged that distance there. And it goes out for out of bounds on the full. And looks to be, is that Braganolo on the outer wing for the Lions, half forward flank. Going to go long, inside 50, puts it high. Dugan sets himself, shepherded off the ball.
Surely, yep.
And gets the free kick, no advantage played.
Jacob Wood
Jacob Wood. As you got a clear view of that one, didn't you, Dale? I saw
Shepherd.
Shepherd.
Yeah. He did it. It was attempting to get up early, and probably if the DROUIN defender had let him get up early, he would have probably maybe received a free kick. But because he was about to, he did. Because he was about to launch, he took his eyes off the ball and just took his feet out from underneath him. So, and he's in a bit of trouble too. Is the big fella out there, Ryan Taylor for DROUIN. He's just called for the trainer. He's hobbling around on the mark at the moment. He's trying to put Ash Dugan off, who already has 3 first-half goals. This margin's 24 points. It's late in the second quarter. It's not going to make the distance. Big pack forms. That's a mark over the back. Yep. Could nearly be 50 on Olsen. But fair enough.
Jacob Wood.
Didn't care that he marked it. He just wanted to drill him into the ground. As the kick goes out wide towards Barr of the Hawks. They get it further afield, looking for his teammate out there in Piner, who couldn't quite mark it. Reynolds was there. So was Allison for the Hawks, and it goes over for a boundary throw. He gets to the bench now, does big Ryan Taylor. Seems to be moving okay to get back out there. At late, 26.5 minutes gone, second quarter. Margin is 24 points.
Boundary throw in. Morrow works it to the front. Reading the ball nicely is Axford. Gets it out to Morris. Chips the ball forward. Looking for Alice Anderson. Anderson can't gather. And great pressure on the outer wing there for the Lions just to lock the ball in. Might have been Nathan Guy out there.
The kicks for the DROUIN, the field kicking for DROUIN is certainly the issue. They're dropping short. They're not confident with their kicking, whether it's the breeze, the conditions. But
I reckon they're second-guessing themselves.
Yep.
They're sort of almost checking their kick at the last minute. As Ainsworth kicks the ball forward. It looked to have come off an opponent, and he's going to win himself a free kick, is Peter Ainsworth.
I said he was smart. I didn't think he was that clever. But
kick the ball into the back of the heel.
Yep. Of the opposition and go over for out of bounds on the full.
To go back to the point with DROUIN, they're out and free, and it's like they've got an option, but then they change their mind at the last minute, and that's creating a turnover.
Whereas the Lions just go long and direct. We're going to come back. Ainsworth has to go behind over his mark from that free kick. He'll end up just about in Newborough with this kick. But that's where the umpire wants him. But Ainsworth again puts it to the same spot he kicked it before. This time going to fly there was Prestige. Good spoil because he's behind. Morris did well. That was Ed. Got it out towards Olsen. He kicks a torp or a barrel towards the middle of the ground. Working hard in there was Miller. He does get it now. Handballs inboard to Salter. He goes backwards a little bit to his teammate in Jeb McLeod. McLeod has one bounce, swings around, gets to that right foot now. Unloads inside forward 50, looking for a target. He got 3 to beat. And Miller, he's done well. He gets a handball out there towards Nathan Guy. A quick snap around the body from Miller. Goes high up and down, close towards the boundary now and over. Well, stays in. Massis was there. Braganolo tries to run onto this one. Again, close to the boundary line. Keeping it in does well. Braganolo gets it out. And Darnell Grech gets high and takes a mark on half-back.
Yeah, just with Jeb McLeod coming through the middle there, just had no forward structure. Grech comes in board to Blazer. Blazer looks upfield, finds Wood. Plays on quickly, gets to centre half forward, chisels a pass, in 5, inside 50 and finds Scott Van Dyke leading nicely out of the goal square. He'll line up for goal, 45-degree angle, 30 metres out. Great transition work from the back line there from the Lions.
James Blazer's run across half-back was good. Of course, Darnell Grech's mark was great. And to take the game on in Jacob Wood was fantastic.
Van Dyke lining up for goal, gets to his mark. It's going to fall short. Flies from the back, gets to the goal mouth and rushing the ball through. The last line of defence was Tommy Barr for the Hawks.
Which takes Murray to a 25-point lead on the Green and Gippsland scoreboard. We've played almost 30 minutes into this quarter and it's 7:11:53 to 4:28.
Olsen played onto himself and then got dumped downfield, so the free kick lands in Liam Anderson's hand at his defensive 50. Late in the second quarter, Anderson goes inboard to Barr, who marks and stops. There's a run out wide. Does he go that way? It's McCullough. He gets out wide to him. He can take it. He does, McCullough. Oh, heaping handball. He got crunched, but he got his handball away. Beautifully done. The quick kick goes inside forward 50. Looking for Guy. Can't mark. Goes to the top of the 50. They sweep on it. This time Axford has a shot at goal. Bounces at the toes of Stanley. Braganolo for the Lions. Clears. Kicks it high out wide. Anderson can't mark. Biffin good spoil. Prestige was there as well. We've got a scrum at half forward. Flicks out the back now to Barr. From 55. Left foot flying shot at goal. It's going. That's a great goal on the right nearly on the siren of half time. As a good goal there by Tom Barr on his left foot.
Oh, that was fantastic. And just as you called it there too, Darryl, the siren has gone. It is half time here at Ted Summerton Reserve. As young James McCullough still hands on the head on the outer wing here after that heavy hit from James Blazer.
He got the handball away though.
He did, and the result being...
Water coming up all thanks to Monticello's here, Troy.
Yeah, absolutely, as the umpire holds the ball aloft and back in the middle. Allison works ball underneath, comes to Fleming, gathered by one hand by Blazer. Gets a clearance, but it's marked by Olsen, defensive centre half back for the Hawks. It's going to come near side. It's got 2-on-1. Ainsworth works to the front, as does Biffin. Biffin claims it and takes a defensive mark on the defensive side of centre wing. Comes wide to Grech. Grech plays on. The umpire doesn't call it as Barr comes up to the mark. Just weighing up his options. Going to go long down the line. Blazer, 1-on-1. Works to the front. Good strong. Marks, 60 metres out. Wheels around. Chisels the ball inside. Looking for Dugan. Hands out in front. Great pressure on. Axford tackles. Good pressure by Axford. Creates a turnover to Olsen. Olsen works inside the corridor. Working off his man there was Pearce. Wasn't Pearce, Reese. Reese comes to Farrell. Back to Massis. Massis has Collins inside 50. He's got time to gather. Gets all... Doesn't get a good shepherd from Tommy Long as Miller works off his man and sees the ball out for a boundary throw in 55 metres around from Moe's goal.
So the boundary throw in, and Allison puts his hand up to take the ruck duties up against Farrell. And as we said, Bob McCullum has spent a lot of this time forward or on the bench and not a great deal in the ruck. This time Allison got it over the back. Quick kick there by Axford. Goes high down the wing, looking for a teammate down there was Miller. Over the back they run. Falls now in Anderson's hands, who chips it inboard. Here's McCullum, works his opponent underneath it, close to the boundary line. This will be a miracle goal if it goes through. It does go through, but for a minor score. And why wouldn't you have a crack? No one else was inside forward 50. So Druin get the first score of the third quarter.
And 1.5 minutes into that third quarter, the McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard, 5-5-35 Druin, 7-11-53 Moe.
So Biffin plays onto himself, gains himself 15, make it 20 metres, then gets it outside the 50. It goes long and wide, just doesn't judge the wind, and often, many times here at Ted Summerton Reserve, it goes out of bounds on the full, right in front of the Monticello sign.
And bringing the ball back in would be Allison for Druin, the big ruckman. Going to go long inside 50. Wind pulls it up short.
Bob.
Biffin works to the front, brings it back down to himself and takes a nice mark. Plays on quickly to Massis across the front of his defensive goal. Massis can run, has two bounces, can take a third. Looking for options now. Cuts back inside the corridor, cuts back outside, looking for Greg. Pressure on. Greg has to bring it down. Pressure on from Salter. Now the help comes from Axford. 3-on-1 though. As Braganolo hurried handball over the top.
Good work by the Hawks.
Great work by the Hawks. Exactly right, Daryl. As Axford and Salter creating the pressure there, forcing a turnover. An out of bounds boundary throw in.
Axford was the one that had to make the decision to run at Massis and cause him to make a decision, because otherwise he could have ran easily out of his defensive 50, and he did very well, did Axford. Ball's back into play.
Fleming gets a nice handball over the top to Blazer. Blazer handballs to nobody in particular. Great attack on the ball. Held too long without the ball was Wayne Morris, and he'll win himself a free kick on true centre wing. As no one stands a mark. He can play on if he likes.
No protected zone free kicks there.
His kick, well judged. Nathan Guy takes a nice strong mark. Handballs inside to Koss. Koss goes forward looking for McCullum. Meeting the ball nicely is Charlie Rennitz. And we'll see the ball out for a boundary throw in 40 metres around from Druin's goal. It's been pretty much all Druin in this third term so far. 3.5 minutes gone. And only a minor score in favour of Druin to the scoreboard, 18-point margin.
Boundary throw in. This time McCullum will take the ruck dues in the front spot. Got pushed in the back. The umpire said play on. Koss was there at the top of the 50. Great work by Darnell Gregg. Handballs inboard to Stanlake, who can gather and run. Drop punt kick to suit true centre half forward. Going back there was Van Dyke, also Miller. Good tackle on Long. Long just says, get out of me way. I'm going to kick it inside 50 to Dugan, who can put one hand up. Can't mark. Jaden Van Dyke was there. Great work by back there was Piner. Falls now to Van Dyke. Can he get his hands on it? They're working hard, the Lions forwards. Getting it closer to their forward line. Van Dyke will sock it off the ground for a goal. Easy as that. And they just kept working and working and working. And the goal umpire likes to take his time down there, but Scott Van Dyke it was in the end. And I say easy.
No, I just meant they probably made something easy a lot harder than what it should have been. Sorry, Daryl.
Yes, well, that's sort of, I just meant that in the end it comes easy for the Lions to kick the goals.
I'm picking up what you put.
And on the McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard, we are 4 minutes into the third quarter, and Moe are 8-11-59. They've got a 25-point lead over Druin, who are 5-5-35.
Ball goes back in the middle, where the ruck duties again lies with Damien Allison, who will try to get in the front spot. Good work by Farrell to knock it down. Working hard was Jeb McLeod, who's got the new jumper now, after having his ripped off in the first quarter.
Quick around the courts, thanks to Harvey Norman Furniture Gippsland. It's game over in the A grade, and Moe fought hard, but fell 2 goals short, 53 to Druin, 51 to Moe.
Lions go forward again. It's Jacob Wood will end up on the end of this. He gathers it, gets inside 50, runs to 40, gets around one, gives a handball off, puts the Hawks defenders under pressure, picked off by Pearce, who runs to the top of the square and puts it home, and Josh Pearce has 2.
Great work there by Pearce, reading the defensive handball off really well, cutting it off and dribbling the ball through nicely for a running goal and stretching that margin out to 30 points.
Takes Moe to 9-11-65 on the McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard. They have a 30-point lead over Druin now, who are 5-5-35, and we're just coming up to the 6-minute mark of the third quarter.
Well, we've had some big moments in the game thanks to Monticello's, Jim Beam White and Cola Can 10 packs for $32 and the Melbourne Bitter Slab case for $50. Well, big moments are coming right now, and it is the Lions extending their margin to the game high as the ball comes back in the middle. Again, Farrell tries a handball backwards. Nice little tap by Salter. Allison has to work hard again. in there as well as Harrison. Now they go forward. Falls in the hands of Ryan Salter. Has a flying shot from 40, and that's a good reply. Reece Salter it is, gets his second, and he's been very lively. He's been one of the best this afternoon, and it's all thanks to Gippsland Isuzu.
I was just about to say too, boys, I'd love to see McCullum back in the middle, because 2 quick goals to Moe. Great answer there by Salter for Druin, while Allison was in the middle. Just some great bustling work in the middle just to force a turnover and get the ball going forward, and Salter finish off with a nice goal.
So we've had 3 goals kicked in the first 6 minutes of the third quarter. The McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard sees a 24-point lead to Moe, 9-11-65 to Druin, 6-5-41.
Very eerie how the goals get kicked, as they did in the their second quarter. 2 goals to Moe, and then Reece Salter pops up and gets one. And then, of course, it's happened again in the third quarter. Can they respond again, the Hawks? Have they got something there? Good work by Koss, got it out wide. On this occasion, Wayne Morris has it for the Hawks. He ignores the lead of McCullum. Now he's going to kick longer. Anderson presents, but he just goes high. He's going to wait for a defender. Good spoil by Stanlake. Comes to ground. Renitz does well. Handballs backwards to Braganolo. Chips his kick inboard. And he finds Jaden Van Dyke at centre-half back, who goes chipping again, middle of the ground. Great presenting work by Josh Pearce. Runs around. Right foot kick goes high. It's plenty of space. Dugan's got some wheels. Piner closes. Dugan does well. Over there is Prestige. Gave it to Dugan, who was out of bounds, and we're going to boundary throw in inside the Moe forward 50. 8 minutes have gone, third quarter, and the margin is 24 points.
I like the work of Josh Pearce. He's looking lively across the centre-half forward line there for the Lions. He works down now to take this ruck contest. Allison there as well. Comes to Pearce. Taps it down to Blazer. Blazer, great hands over the top to Van Dyke. Runs himself into pressure, and he'll call for holding the ball. And Salter there, who kicked the last goal for the Hawks, now doing the work in the back line there and creating a turnover. Plays on, run and bounce, puts himself under pressure, takes on Van Dyke, misses the handball though.
Good support.
Morris has got time, he misses his handball. Rennes comes up and meets him hard. Turnover, comes to Braganolo through the middle. Chiseling pass finds Grech. Grech, 55 metres out, wheels around. Scott Van Dyke on the lead, working back. Tommy Long comes up, puts pressure on. Van Dyke gets his head taken off. Umpire says play on. Pressure on inside 50 there for the Lions. And it looks to be James Di Virgilio laying a nice tackle and causing a ball up. 10 metres around from goal, deep inside Moe's attacking 50.
Scott Van Dyke looking to get his third. He pleaded to the umpire, didn't get the call he was after. On ground level again, Di Virgilio working hard, trying to stand up in the tackle. Couldn't go anywhere. 9 minutes in, margin 24 points in favour of Moe. Druin have played okay football this afternoon, but it's just slipping away from them. They need to respond. Blazer kicks it off the ground from the stoppage. It goes away from the goal and eventually goes over for a boundary throw in. Just repeating in the netball, Troy, you had a victory in favour of
Druin, 51-53 in favour of Druin, I believe.
Good work, Troy.
From memory. Boundary throwing deep inside 50 for the Lions. Pearce works it to the front. Hurried handball out from the Hawks. Great pressure on. And looks to be Barr or Koss will see this over for another boundary throwing. Still inside 50 there for the Lions.
They've been better, haven't they, Druin, from what we've seen last year?
Absolutely.
To what they are today. They're having a red-hot crack, and it's just not a token word that they are. They're actually putting their body on the line. They're just executing with them. We just see it again there with a Olsen handball out. It's the kick and the handball that's just missing the targets.
Lassick has to go back and fetch his own ball. That's a nice handball out to Miller. Releases, is that McLeod? McLeod gets the ball going forward, working up nicely there is Jolly. No, Hames. Hames wheels around. McCullum has the pressure on from Renitz. Good spoil on. Good work at ground level again by Massis, laying a nice strong tackle there on David Ellison. No, Morris, Eddie Morris, who's finding himself forward. Being matched up by Stanlake. We'll have a ball up. Half forward flank for the Hawks. Allison and Renitz. Renitz works the ball back. Working hard there was Guy. Misses his target. Di Virgilio turns the ball over. Hurried kick forward. Grech works to the front. Tries to tap it down. Guy working back defensively. Good pressure on. Ainsworth, clean. Handballs to Biffin. Biffin gets tackled straight away and doesn't have the ball. And he'll win a free kick, half forward flank there for the Lions.
Craig wasn't happy on that occasion. Thought his tackle was fair. Unfortunately, the umpire's rules are the rules. And Biffin was the free kick. Kick a bit of a wobbly one, but it might come off. Lands in the hands of Long, who's been forward all afternoon. Tackled when he didn't have the football there was Olsen. Play on to the umpire. Jaden Van Dyke jumps on it. They pressure again, and the umpires are happy to let this go. But I think overall the umpiring's been fantastic this afternoon.
No, it's been very good.
They've been in very good pre-season form. They've been working hard with the umpires in the off-season, and they've started very, very well. Good tap by Allison down to Axford, who has to go again, does Allison. The ball bounces out. Now it's in a danger spot for the Hawks. Coming in to help out there on that occasion was Barr. Standing up in the tackle was Cos. He just dropped it, and the umpire said, you can't do that. Or did he say Di Virgilio illegally tackled him? I think he did.
Said he swung him to the ground. So maybe a dangerous tackle as Cos chisels a ball
Nice
dangerously.
kick. Pay that. Oh, and he wants to go on with it with the coach there, Blazer. Miller's got the free kick, Troy.
Miller still inside his defensive 50. Presenting hard there was
Haynes.
Hames. Gets ignored. Switches to the other side in Barr. Barr waiting for options to unfold up the ground. Just being measured with the ball. This time he goes long. Looking for his teammate out there in Fairley. Fairley gathers. Handballs over the top to Guy. Guy met with a solid tackle there out on the outer half forward flank for DROUIN. It looks to be Braganolo seeing the ball over for a boundary throw-in.
David Olsen just comes off limping as Anderson goes back on, and if they didn't have different surnames, I'd call them brothers.
Might be Miller.
But Miller, Anderson and Olsen, the triplets of DROUIN. As this kick gets towards the wing of Cos, good work there by Tommy Long it was. Gave it off to the running Stanlake. His up and over kick. It might come off, but Dugan working back there was Miller. Anderson it was. Close back there now is Piner. Twisting and turning, gives a hand back to Anderson. Oh, got dumped as he kicked it. But luckily, the kick come away okay. It went in the hands of Cos. And Cos goes in towards Axford. And Dugan and Anderson go on with it. The kick goes across the ground. Working hard out here is Olsen. Quick handball out in front of his teammate there is Reece Salter. His left foot kick goes high. Standing underneath it is Pearce. And he's been impressive this afternoon. He took the mark and played on. Goes to half forward. Delivery inside 50 over towards Di Virgilio. Not quite there. Jaden Van Dyke swoops on it. Handball's out. Dugan has it. Handball's over his shoulder to Van Dyke. Lowers the eyes, comes back inboard. And Peter Ainsworth has been on his own all afternoon. Will have a shot from 50 out on a slight angle, Troy.
Yeah, Ash Dugan coming to the ground, boys. He's got the left knee heavily strapped, favouring that side by the looks of it. He didn't really want to contest that inside 50 there because of that issue. The ball did spill out to him. He was able to feed a handball off, but he's coming off. We'll try and get an update as Ainsworth makes his way to the top of the 50, hooks the kick, flying from the back as Di Virgilio. Fleming, and he doesn't get anywhere near it. The ball goes over for a boundary throw-in. 5 metres around from goal for deep inside Moe's 50. We are 14 and a half minutes gone. 30-point margin in favour of Moe. That's thanks to the McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard.
Paul Carter.
The last goal didn't get put up on the scoreboard. 6-5-41 DROUIN, 24 points.
Geez, they had a couple of bloopers this afternoon, the timekeepers here, but I'm sure they'll be on top of things. DROUIN get it towards half forward. Nice handball across to Morris. He kicks it over the top. Nice work running onto it is Cody Harrison. Can he gather it? He picks it up now. Closing speed was great from Mitch Stanley. Great special tackle. Barr was there close to the boundary again. Macice will happily see this over, but Mitch Stanley, fantastic closing speed on Cody Harrison. And that stopped a certain goal for the Lions as Barr and Macice just say howdy doody, and Macice just gave Barr one. Umpire said, I don't care, let's play footy, boys, and they give another one. It comes back into play. Morrow does well. Kick off the ground there from the coach in Blazer. Long does well, tackles Barr. He won't like that strong tackle from the physical machine that Tommy Long is. And Barr just got up and went, okay, I might walk away from that one.
I saw that it was Tommy Long, but not Joe Macice.
Yeah. So we're going to ball up 55 metres out from DROUIN's goal. No one really takes the ruck work. They go to Macice on that strong tackle. Going in hard there was Reece Salter. And they dive on top of him again. The umpire has no other option but to ball it up.
He's been real positive for him as Reece Salter. He's been really solid this quarter for the whole 3 quarters actually, as McCallum knocks the ball forward to Stanlake for the Lions. Feeds the ball back to Biffin. A high up and under.
Cos.
Cost flies from the back. Tommy Long sits underneath it. Comes to Massis. Met heavily by Morris. Kick goes inside the corridor. Prestige overruns it, as does Wood. Got time to go back and get it. Feeds a handball off to Collings, running through the middle. Has a leading Greg coming outside
kick.
50. Marks right on that 50-metre arc.
Look at him in the goal
wheel
square.
around. 2 players in the goal square. Ball goes that way. Has to sit underneath it. Van Dijk. And Van Dijk. It falls to Van Dijk. He can't gather. Picked up by Pearce. Scrappy kick going forward and misses to the near side.
Jeez.
He goes through for a minus.
How were the Van Dijk boys in the goal square on their own? Great work by the defence to get back. Free kick surely to Morris.
Yeah.
And that is Ed Morris. Defensive 50. Trying to look for an option. Missing a target again. It's all the lines. It's going to come back. Braganolo swooped on it. Right foot kick goes inside 50. But no one's there. And getting up was Ryan Taylor for the Hawks, who marks, gets it out wide to his teammate Reece Farley out wide. If they're just not getting the reward at the moment, the Hawks.
No, they fall down a little bit across the middle,
And-
because there's times where they get the ball going through the middle, and when they do actually hit a target, it's flying from the back of McCullum, who's going to give away a free kick. Advantage, plays on through Biffin to Wood, back to Biffin, takes on his opponent, gives a handball off to Blazer. Blazer chisels the ball inside the corridor to find Harry Sim. Half forward flank, right half forward flank, looking for options. Goes to the fat side. That's a great pass to Greg. Falls just short. Greg chips the ball over his shoulder. No one back there for the Lions, and working back there nicely is David Olsen, as he's done on many occasions.
You talk about, just quickly while Miller takes that mark in his defensive back pocket, you talk about they break down at half forward. I reckon Darcy Irwin, who left the side.
Turnover here, sorry. Scars, it comes out to Fleming. Fleming on the left boot. Sneaks it inside the right-hand goal post and gets a turnover goal there for the Lions, as DROUIN, as we're talking about not hitting targets, Darryl, miss a target coming outside defensive 50 and pay the ultimate price going the other way.
The McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard is a 31-point lead to Maui 18 minutes into the third quarter. The scoreboard should read Maui 10-12-72 to DROUIN 6-5-41. Scoreboard still missing that last DROUIN goal, so the margin is actually 31 points.
I just, as I was saying, that breaking down across half forward, Darcy Irwin, who has left the club, has gone up to Queensland to play. He's the one, isn't it, the centre half forward that can present, and he was the gut-busting centre half forward, and he would have been very handy in this side, but they're just lacking it across that area at the moment as they go forward again to the Lions. Brew Ainsworth, his handball just missed Jaden Van Dijk, but Pearce was there to read it nicely. Sold some candy, comes in board. His field kicking for a big fella is absolutely superb, and he hit up Darnell Grech on a lead. Josh Pearce,
He just drills them, doesn't he?
he would be, what is he, 6'3" thereabouts?
Yeah.
And he can drill a pass to any leading
But
forward.
just his composure when he gathered the ball as well. He could have rushed his kick going forward, but he realised he had some time and space and found Greg hitting up nicely for a shot on goal.
Directly in front from 45. It starts at left, it keeps going. That breeze will push it across. And that is for a minor score. They've been wayward this afternoon, of the Lions. It's their 13th behind.
10-13-73 on the McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard. 32-point leaders over DROUIN, 6-5-41.
Quick around the grounds for Harvey Norman Furniture Gippsland in the AFL, boys. It's a tight one in Adelaide, as Power are leading by 13 points 4 minutes into the final term, and it's the Demons by 12 points 22 minutes gone in the third quarter against the Kangaroos.
Olsen kicks it long and direct, but Blazer was the one there. Marks it at true centre half back. 2 kicks away from score, from a opportunity at least, as Blazer just waits. Now he comes lateral. Mitch Stanlake can get it and go, and he can have a shot, I reckon. Unload from 50, and it's going. It's a helicopter. It's going to drop short. Reading it on the goal line is Tommy Long. He does a bit of a juggle. It doesn't matter in the end. He's in the square. It should be directly in front, and Tommy Long will go back and get Maui's 11th goal.
Should.
I've marked it down already.
Oh, we know what happened last time.
Tommy Long won't miss this. He's 10 metres out. He comes in on 2 steps and goes bang. And like I said, Troy, I told you so. Tommy Long gets another one for the Lions. They extend this lead. This is out to a game high now, Paul.
It's 38-point lead on the McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard, Darryl. 11-13-79 is the Maui score, and DROUIN are 6-5-41.
20 minutes gone as well. It's a real big moment thanks to Monticello's this afternoon. The Woodstock and Cola 10 packs, $30. They need to hang tough in this final moments of the third quarter. And as we said, they've played some good football, but I'm sure Jordan Kingy won't be happy with good football. They want to be competitive.
No, let themselves down with the 4-1 term so far, as we see Olsen has moved into the middle. for the Hawks. Jeb McLeod's been held pretty well by the Lions as it falls out to Morrow. Morrow's tackled straight away. Axford gathers, wheels around, gets it inside 50. Allison leading the all-comers there. Renitz gets a nice spoil on, falls to ground level, comes to Guy, wheels around, has Barr, misses him. He goes in between. Stanlake sockers it off the ground. Goes to Ainsworth. He clears through Morrow, defensive side of centre wing. He'll have to go back over his mark. Just being patient. Has a player out wide, looks to be Collins. Collins marks on the wing. And again, just being patient, waiting for something to unfold. Goes back to Stanlake, has to juggle. You've got two players who just don't... Oh, they've got three. The other one's Renitz. Renitz has got time. He's deep inside his defensive 50. Wheels it out to Reese. Reese marks on his defensive 50. Goes over the top to Biffin. Biffin's got pressure coming. Dangerous there. Handball over the top to Braganolo. Morris puts the pressure on. Nice kick by Braganolo under that pressure though and finds Di Virgilio. Di Virgilio goes inside 50. A nice lead by Grech coming outside of the square. Play on, says the umpire. Falls out to Miller. He's tackled. McCullum gets a hurried kick. Can't quite clear defensive 50. Eddie Morris clean hands over the back and releases through his teammate in Jesse Craig.
Looking for the ruckman there in Allison, overrunning it though. Good work by Stanley. Oh, crunching tackle from Barr on Braganolo. Morrow comes in though, sweeps a handball back to the quarterback in Ainsworth. He goes forward now by hands. Falls to Blazer, kick out wide. Finds Collins, gets onto that trusty left foot, drives it long out in the front of Jaden Van Dyke. And that is who can mark it, swing around, right foot to Grech, who runs underneath it. Good contest. Over the back was Miller for the Hawks. Gave it to Olsen. His handball goes out wide where Jackson Koss was there. Couldn't get it. Great sliding work by Jacob Wood. Swooping on the football. Gave the handball off to the running Collins. His legs was going too quick for his body. Wood was back there, close to the boundary line. He'll keep it in. Ducks under the tackler. Comes back onto the right foot. Wobbly kick. Inside 50 it goes again. Swooping on that was Harry Sim. Gave the handball up, put his teammate under pressure. Grech works hard at ground level, so does Collins. He's hanging around the football. Good work by Carr. Stands up in it. Handball's out to McCallum. Back to Morris. Good work by Morris, though. Quick tackle by Cos. That should be holding the ball. The umpire said play on. Again, for the Hawks, goes short. Falls in the hands of Axford, who handballs over the top to a teammate. Just fumbles it at that occasion. Swooping back towards Axford. And he's going to relieve with a kick down the line.
Axford runs and carries, gets past the wing area, goes inside 50, diving forward as Renitz, can't take the mark. Pressure from Stanlake. Ball gets to the top of the 50. Renitz, clever, off the ground, finds Biffin. Biffin the handball to Sim, gives the ball back to Biffin, back to Sim, chips the ball over the top to a leading long half-forward flank for the Lions. Got a player out wide. That player is Dylan Farrell, too tall for even the big ruckman.
Put it through.
Gets to the 50. Goes, nice kick to the top of the square and finds Darnell Grech, who's worked really hard while he's been up in the forward line. And this is his reward for that hard work. He's going to line up on a slight angle, 15 metres out. You're marking him down, Darryl.
Yep.
No time. Doesn't even relax. Goes back and puts for a shot on goal.
No celebration from anyone, and now they finally get to him. Darnell Grech gets his first of the afternoon.
And it's now a 44-point lead to Moe. Really blown out way this quarter. On the McDonald's Gift Fan scoreboard, Moe at 12, 13.85. Druin 6-5 41.
As we said, 25 minutes gone, and it's been all Moe in this quarter. They've kicked the 5 goals to 1 to really extend their margin, which was 19 points at half-time. As we said, it's now increased out to the 44-point margin that it is. And no doubt the Hawks will be looking for that three-quarter time siren just to reset themselves. And, of course, there was a big hit just on the half-time, and that was James McCullough. He hasn't come back on in this third quarter. Just pointed to the ribs cage in that where he is down on the boundary line at the moment here at Ted Summoner Reserve. So you may not see him this afternoon. In the middle of the ground, though, Wood works hard with Sim, who gave it to Blazer. His right foot kick goes up and down. Coming back out was Grech again. Taps it over his head superbly. Fleming just needs to collect it. He's going to try and soccer it off the ground. It dribbles through. Who will kick it through? I don't know if it was Fleming or if it was Van Dyke. Who knows?
Van Dyke.
But there was great soccer work skills there by both the Moe boys, and we're going to give it to Scott Van Dyke because he loves a goal.
Excellent work. Great clearance work in the middle. I think it was Tommy Long just bustling out of the pack there. Found Harry Sim, worked it out to James Blazer, who's been rock solid. And just the pressure inside 50. Darnell Greck's been fantastic coming out of the goal square because Dugan is off with an injury, but a nice soccer goal there from Scott Van Dyke.
And the McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard now sees Moe with a 50-point lead. We're at the 26-minute mark of the third quarter. The Lions 13-13-91, leading Druin 6-5-41.
Well, certainly wind gone out of DROUIN SARS now. The Lions are very clinical this quarter. They go forward though. Quick kick there by Lassick. Gets to half forward. Allison was there. Sim does well. Handballs to Blazer. Quick kick. Geez, strong. No one can bring him down. It lands in the hands of Prestige out on the wing, who sweeps a handball inboards to the speeds to Collins, whose left foot kick delivery to Darnell Greck, who got a great vertical leap, got high and took the mark at the highest point. We'll go back. We'll have a shot on goal. It's exciting to watch these young Moe Lions play.
Oh, that was just clinical off that half-back flank, wasn't it? Just they were clean. They were prepared to take the game on. A nice handball inside by Prestige to a running Collins. And even though he got chased down, that kick was fantastic under pressure to find Greck. He's going to line up on a tight angle. 30 metres out. Distance shouldn't be a problem. Puts the ball on the boot. Likes it. There's a celebration for you, Darryl.
That's what I like.
Puts the celebration, one hand up in the air and says, thank you very much. He gets his second in 3 minutes, and that's Moe's 7th for the quarter.
Well, he said a couple of minutes ago, no one comes to me to celebrate, so I'll do my own celebrating. And that's exactly what he did.
And on the McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard now, 56-point lead to Moe, 14-13-97 to Druin, 6-5-41. If you remember, boys, at the beginning of last year, Darnell Greck was the Moe full forward.
He certainly was. He knows how to kick a goal. He's been great this afternoon. He's played in the midfield. He has gone forward and given him a target. Now all the Moe Lions are up on the square, and Darnell is the only one back in the inside forward 50 at the moment. There's a big tap, goes forward. They're going to go again. Good work by Morris, though, to swing around on the right foot. Got it towards his teammate in McLeod, but Biffin was there as well. McLeod does well. He's played well. Handballs inboard towards McCullum. Good tackle, and the umpire said it was just a little bit too high, as the coach, James Blazer, they would have played together in Vic Country duties, and of course the interleague side, they would have played together as well. As McCullum chips one over the top to the leading Farley, who just tried to stop and prop and get a free kick, didn't come. Good work by Stanlake again to kick it off the ground. A strong tackle by Lachlan Reese will cause a ball up inside the forward 50 for Druin, as they have been totally outclassed in the third quarter. They trail by 56 points. Troy Makepeace on Gippsland Live.
Fleming fumbles. It comes to Olsen. Olsen gets the ball back inside 50 for the Hawks. Setting himself there as Guy. Comes to ground level. Tommy Barr roves it up the pack. Snaps it on the right boot, but can't quite bring it back enough. And goes through for a minus score.
Thank
as
goodness.
Siren goes. Yes, thank goodness.
The ball missed the net.
The ball has gone right into Vale Street, I think. As the siren goes, 29 minutes past in this third term. And we have a 50, just to test him out. Do you think, I know where you're going.
Yeah, I'm going to say that. Interesting. A 55-point margin at three-quarter time. This game's all done and dusted. The last quarter is just about to get underway. Good work in the middle there. A handball back from McLeod, who they kick it high now towards, on that occasion, Salter. Couldn't quite mark it. Stanlake's been great. And he wins the footy. Handballs to Blazer. Tries to get a handball out to Collins. He does. Inboard he goes to Jaden Van Dyke. His kick goes high for Greck. Can he get up there? He's got two to beat over the back. Good work. On that occasion was Olsen, who will watch it go over for a boundary throw-in. And I think it was David Olsen. Taylor, was it? Ryan Taylor, who watched it go over for a boundary throw-in. We're going to get to around the ground scores in a moment, Troy. We've got some big scores for you right across all the leagues. And that's a great tap. This time it was to Olsen, who's blazed away in the middle of the ground, and no one's there except for Farrell, who can mark. He handballs back to Braganolo. His kick was smothered in the middle by Allison, but it lands in the hands of Blazer, who from 55 unloads. Drop punt goes back. Greck can't mark, comes to ground. Good work, quick hands by Collins to, Pierce. There it is, Pierce, and gets his third, who snaps around his body And Pearce joins the party with 3 goals to join Van Dijk and Dugan.
No, good quality game from Josh Pearce in his first outing for the Lions. He's been lively across the half-forward line. He's finished off so far with 3 goals in this game, and good contest there by Greg and Tommy Long deep in the square.
And on the Turnbulls Gippsland scoreboard, it's a 61-point lead to Maui. 1 minute into the final quarter, 15-13, 103 to Druin, 6-6-42.
We'll just watch this centre clearance, Troy, and then we'll get to around the grounds for you. Of course, this around the grounds this afternoon, thanks to Harvey Norman Furniture Gippsland. It'll be Ellison up against Farrell. Farrell again, beautiful tap down to Blazer. That is training stuff. Blazer puts it to the hot spot. It bounces over the top near Olsen. Coming in hard there was Wayne Morris. Now Cos has to go. Underground handball was picked off by Jacob Wood. Spins out of a tackle, sort of. He flicks a handball out wide, lands in the hands of Fleming. He handballs to Collings. Collings wanted the left foot, had to handball to Sim. Sim on the right foot, sprays it, hits the scoreboard, misses by 15 metres.
Sorry, did I laugh out loud?
You did laugh out loud, Troy. He was under pressure. Just because you spend most of your time in the defensive 50. Have you ever kicked a goal?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Don't throw stones at glass houses, Troy.
All right, fair enough.
Let's go around the grounds this afternoon for Harvey Norman Furniture. Over to you, Troy Makepeace. What do you got?
In the AFL, we have Melbourne leading by 4 goals over North Melbourne 4 minutes into the final term. And a close game in Adelaide, boys. 23 minutes gone. Power only up by 5 points. Stanlake marks this resulting kick in. Half-forward flank. Goes inside 50. Greg's got 3 to beat.
Oh, good
Olsen
effort.
spoils and then marks his own spoil deep inside 50. Chisels a ball inside. Finds Piner. Piner's going to go long and wide. We know what happens when they kick it wide to that side of the ground.
Oh, just.
Marking nicely is Cody Harrison in front of Peter Ainsworth. His kick is dangerous inside the corridor. Again, equal to the task there. Looks to be Eddie Morris. Still half-back flank. Working hard for their possessions. Gets called to play on. Collings comes at him. Ducks around onto the left. Goes to the half-forward flank. Working back there nicely is Tommy Barr. Runs, bounces, gets to the 50, gets to 45, puts the ball on the boot, dribbles the ball, lands inside the square, goes across the face of goal, doesn't quite go over the line. Handball back to McCallum. McCallum snaps it on the left, gets it through for Druin's goal, first goal in this final quarter.
Yeah, Bob McCallum gets his second for the game, and that was great work. The roving work from Tom Barr was fantastic on the outer wing. He was able to run, have a bounce, get inside 50 and really put it in deep inside his forward 50 where McCallum swooped on it.
And the Turnbulls Gippsland scoreboard sees the margin return to the three-quarter time, 1 of 55 points. 15-13, 103. Maui, Druin, 7-6-48. We've played 4 minutes in the final quarter.
And quickly, other around-the-ground scores in mid-Gippsland. Newborough are leading Yarragon by 20 points. Thorpedale over Yallourn North by 22 points. Yannara up by 5 goals over Merby North. More East are running away with the game against Ballara, and Traff are comfortable leaders so far over Hill End.
We've got a Gippsland power score we'll get to in a moment as well, because those boys played today as this football bobbles around in the middle and it's picked off by Farrell. The kick there from Wayne Morris was a bit too short. Over the top of the leading target there was Scott Van Dyke, and we've got a boundary throw in. We can go to that now, Troy.
Yeah, Gippsland Power Boys had a fantastic win today over Bendigo Pioneers. 17-15, 117, defeated Bendigo 8-5-53 at QEO Oval.
We'll keep you up to date with those AFL scores too. It's a cracking game between Port Adelaide at the moment, and Brisbane are certainly taking it up to them over there on their home turf at the Adelaide Oval, whereas back here we are 5 minutes into this final quarter. The margin's 55 points in favour of Maui. They've started season 2018 in fine fashion. Jay Massis kicks it towards Tom Fleming, who's had a great game. He's spent a bit of time in the midfield, has Fleming, and it's good to see. Strong body, big fly, good spoil over the back there, but front and square on that occasion was Jeb McLeod. He's been lively for the Hawks as well. He kicks it out towards McCallum, who can get up and take a good mark. No mark was paid. Yes, it was.
Paid.
So McCallum on the wing. They all flood back. He tries to get it over the top of the defence, but going back was Charlie Rennett. He may have dropped a few kilos, but he certainly hasn't dropped any courage.
He has been rock solid today. He's got spoils in at critical times, and he just turns the ball over. Ends up with Harrison.
Over the top it goes to Salter. He tries to squeeze a handball out towards Morris. Turns back, gets onto the left. Now he swings around on his right. Flying shot at goal, but there's that man, Charlie Rennett. Don't say a word, Troy Makepeace.
I'm sitting there.
He's been great. He's taken the mark on the last line defence, but you're right. He's the only mistake he's made all day. And it was your fault, not his. And that's a good kick to Farrell.
Pearce. Pearce marks half-back flank, goes inside the corridor, finds Van Dyke. He can run and carry. Pressure comes, but he finds the space to hit Tommy Long, 55 metres out. Goes wide to the fat side. Scott Van Dyke's lurking and marks strongly.
Prestige was there too.
Scott Van Dyke's going to go back and have a set shot at goal. 6.5 minutes gone in his final term.
Don't you like how Scott went to pass it off then? He was never going to give it off.
No, go back and kick the goal, Scotty, and get your fourth for the game. Makes his way just inside 50. Gets to 45, just sort of pokes at it. It's going to go across the front. Flying is Jacob Wood.
Jacob Wood.
And goes through his hands for a minor score.
Would have marked it if he had a mullet.
15-14, 104 the Moe score now. They lead by 56 points over Druin, 7-6-48, just on the 7-minute mark of the final term.
Jackson Koss now has kicking in duties for the Hawks. Comes in to Olsen, who's had a good afternoon and has spent a fair bit of time inside his defensive 50. Olsen comes in board. They've been told to do that, and that's a turnover as Bryce Collins takes the mark and will go back directly in front, 40 metres out. And you can see what the Hawks are trying to do, but they're just not picking the right time to do it.
They're not executing.
No, they want to take the game on. They want to go through the middle of the ground. But at this stage, they're just not quite skillful enough to hit those targets. And it hurts them because Collins directly in front will come in and he'll look to kick his first of the afternoon. And, well, it's a let-off. It's a minor score.
Yeah, I laughed at Harry Sims' kick before. I probably could have laughed at that one as well, but I won't.
Pretty ordinary.
I'm professional.
The margin now out to 57 points. Now they're under all pressure again.
Greg.
We've got a boundary throw in. Troy Makepeace, you got a live update for us for the AFL.
Yeah, there's 20 seconds to go in the Brisbane Lions and Port Adelaide game, and it's deep inside Brisbane's forward 50. We have a boundary throw in, so we'll just keep an eye on this one.
I've got one here. Just jump in at any time, Troy, if you need to.
Van Dyke handballs the ball over to Wood. Koss running through, turns the ball over, finds Eddie Morris. He gathers, pressure comes on from Massis. He's got to go back and go and get it again. Does Fleming. Fleming feeds it off to Van Dyke. Van Dyke from the 50. It's going to bounce on the goal line, but just to the left-hand side of the goalpost.
Game over. Game over in Adelaide Oval. 2 seconds to go. And they've won at the Port. They've held on.
And it's 15-16, 106 Moe, 58-point leaders over Druin, 7-6-48 on the Turnbulls Gippsland scoreboard.
So again, Olsen will bring this one in. And he plays onto himself, comes to the near side, tries to handball over the top. Cos is there. This is the important kick. He just tries a barrel that goes 20 metres. That's not good enough. Comes out towards Jesse Craig it is. It's going to come back in, though, under pressure. Oh, standing his ground. Well done. On that occasion was Miller. So David Miller for the Hawks. Goes short, and it's a turnover again. It's these kicks. Harry Sim takes the mark. And from 45, he'll have to kick from about 50. He says, it's too far out for me. I'm going to give it off. And it goes to Josh Pearce, who has been exciting. I guess they lose Webber and they pick up Pearce. And from what we've seen today, that is a very good pickup and an important one. And for me, I put the question to him, which youngsters were going to step up in the midfield. I think Tom Fleming has played a great game for me as well in the midfield as Pearce. He is a beautiful kick of the football, and that is no exception. He's now the leading goal scorer this afternoon for the Lions. He has 4 goals, and that is a great first game for him this afternoon.
64-point lead on the Turnbulls Gippsland scoreboard for Moe. They are 16-16, 112. Druin are 7-6-48.
Well, Daryl, Moe have been good, but Druin really haven't helped themselves in his second half. The 7-1 third term really set this game in stone, but their turnovers have just been very critical at dangerous parts of the ground as well, as the ball is back in the middle after that goal.
Hames was out taking the ruck duties there. Lissack handballed in there back towards Hames. Coming off the wing on that occasion was Wayne Morris. He got set upon. Trying to help him out was Campbell Jolly, and the umpire will ball it up. But you're exactly right. They don't have too much of an issue winning the contested footy. It's been actually, I reckon it's probably been quite balanced this afternoon.
Exactly.
However,
the work by Pearce has followed Eddie Morris all the way down to this contest right here, and now he's working back just to allow that changeover for Biffin there. So very disciplined work there by Pearce. Not only doing the work in the forward line, as a nice mark there by Salter.
Hames it is in the middle.
Hames plays on, takes on Farrell, goes inside 50. That's a nice pass.
Oh, great work by Renitz.
Renitz gets a spoil on. Handball inside, ends up with Tommy Barr. Gets met heavily by Renitz. Not before Barr can get a kick away. And it goes through for a minor score. Tommy Barr,
the umpire's going to come back and ask if he wants to have another kick, I think. He's taking it. He kicked the point, but I'm not sure why.
So no advantage?
No advantage, so the kick is going to come back to Tom Barr and have another shot at goal. So it's not downfield.
Because it happened as he kicked
it. Fair enough. Tom Barr, though, will go back. He didn't take the point. He'll have another set shot. From about 40 out, slide angle, the breeze will come from his right to left, and he starts at left. It's always going to stay there, although it just helicoptered back and Stanlake took the mark in the last line of defence. So no score for Stanlake to bring it back into play. Finds his teammate in Lachlan Reese, who's hard up on the boundary line. Man in the mark there is Salter. He gets called to play on, goes back into the goal square. Biffen is there, sweeps a handball over the top to Renitz. Renitz waits for Biffen and gives it back to him, and he runs beautifully out of his defensive 50, kicks it wide, and finding a teammate out there is Van Dyke, who comes back inboard, and they do hit the targets. Di Virgilio now marks on centre wing, swings around, right foot kick towards correct direction, can't mark. Olsen comes out, handballs over the top, missing the target there. It's going to come back. Jaden Van Dyke just kicks it off the ground, close to the boundary line. Good little tap towards, that was from Scott Van Dyke. The ball now is in the hot spot. Oh, great work by Tommy Long to gather it and hit the post. Everyone ran forward.
Did really well. They're just working harder, Moe. The ease of what they were able to get the ball outside the defensive 50 when seemingly they were under a little bit of pressure. But the running Biffen, 1-2 handball, he ends up right on his defensive 50 when he started in the goal square, and no one touched him. It was just far too easy.
13-minute mark on the Turnbull's Gippsland scoreboard. Moe leading by 65 points.
So this time Cost brings it in, finds Morris. This is Ed Morris, who is new to the club, back to the club this year. Of course, back from VFL duties. Here's Morris. He got called to play on. Right foot kick goes out wide. Found a teammate out there in Liam Anderson. Anderson comes inboard again. This time it comes off Axford. Now they'll look to come inboard again if that is true, except no, they go out wide, short again. Well, there's three good kicks that hit the target. This will be the important one. They're still in their defensive 50. That time it was from Wayne Morris, kicks it out wide, back to Anderson. Anderson kick off a step, comes off, finds Barr. This could be their best play all afternoon. Barr can carry it, drives it long towards the wing. Inside 50 it goes, out in the front of Jed McLeod for a boundary throw-in, who pulls up a bit proppy, and he may have done a hammy.
He just,
I think he's cramped.
It's probably cramp. But he sort of threw the boot out at the ball as it bounced across the line. So that's a bit unlucky if he's done a hamstring.
First game of 2018, he's cramped, and don't you hate those ones? And no one's helping him. McCullum takes it out of the mark. He's got to go again. Jed McLeod, he's already recovered.
Get a goal.
He's got a cramp. He gave a handball off, a shot on goal. It's gone through, and he's still in a cramp. He's on the ground. We've got two of them.
I think he handballed it too. It's gone down with a cramp as well.
It was a behind. It was kicked. It looked to be, is it Morris down there? So Morris and McLeod both cramping up in the last quarter here. Paul Carter.
It's 7-7-49 Drew, and they trail by 64 points on the Turnbull's Gippsland scoreboard.
Play on by Biffen, sees the ball out wide to Farrell. Farrell handballs to Di Virgilio, wasn't even looking. Reese overruns the ball, goes back and puts the pressure on. Farrell tones for his little error before. Finds Fleming to Van Dyke. Van Dyke chips the ball over the top to the running Wood. He can run and carry. Pressure comes, goes on the left boot. That's a nice pass, and finds Tommy Long on a 45-degree angle, 30 metres out from goal. And he will go back and have a set shot for goal. Just ticked over 15 minutes gone in his final term. We have a 64-point lead to the Lions. And it's been all one-way traffic in this second half as Tommy Long makes his way in. Puts the ball on the boot, favours the right side. The wind's going to carry it across the face of goal for a behind and stretch it out to an even 11 goals.
Quick around the grounds checks thanks to Harvey Norman Furniture Gippsland. We'll go to the AFL, and as we said, Power win it by 5 points over the Brisbane Lions, who are gallant over there at the Adelaide Oval. Meanwhile, your boys, Troy. North Melbourne are trailing by 25 points. It's Melbourne 14-15-99. North Melbourne are 11-8-74. And just repeating here on the netball in the A grade, it was Druin winning 53, defeating Moe 51 in a great game of netball for round one. Action, as we said, the game this afternoon, Bairnsdale and Terrelgan, is being played this afternoon. It's just about to kick off up there in East Gippsland, so we'll get you a couple of those scores before we are off air this afternoon. As it's back here, it's a 65-point margin in favour of the Lions, who have opened their season in fine fashion.
So from the behind, we have a ball up, half-forward flank for the Lions. Morrow works it down to Van Dyke, forcing his way forward. Running through there is Austin Hames. Handball inside. Ends up with Lassick. Lassick chips the ball over the top, finds Eddie Morris. He's worked hard all day, looking inside the corridor. Kick's going to fall short of McCallum. He gathers. Great pressure from Di Virgilio. Forces a hurried handball inside the corridor. John Massis works it into Blazer. Blazer racking up another possession. There's a great kick inside just to the top of the 50 and finds Greg. Greg looks inside the corridor. Has Stanlake, who's worked hard off the half-forward flank. Working hard forward. Have a go, Darryl.
Have a go, yep. He can thump a kick.
The wind won't be an issue.
It won't be an issue for this
Heavy
fella.
legs.
No, Swan Lake will unload from 60 here.
Backing him in.
I'm backing him in. I'm not quite marking it down, but I'll back him in. He's directly in front.
Kick a long ball though. Can Mitchell Stanlake. Worked hard all game. Can he get some reward for that hard work? Walks inside, centre half forward, gets to the 50, gets to 45, ball on the boot. Working it back nicely, but not nicely enough, and can't bring it back and goes through for a behind.
Distance wasn't the issue there, Paul.
It's a 66-point lead to Moe on the Turnbulls Gippsland scoreboard. Moe 16-19-115, Druin 7-7-49.
Olsen brings it back in, goes to that far side, and it's going to come straight back as Peter Ainsworth pretty much took the uncontested mark out there. Comes inboard to Blazer, who's all on his own, right on 50. Blazer pushes back. The breeze will be too far out for him to score, I'd think, as Blazer waits. He's usually a great kick of the football and delivers a bit of a wobbly one. It might come off. Oh, good contest. Great courage by Di Virgilio there. And also the Druin defender coming back. They might be away. Morris takes on Biffin. He's got to get going, and Biffin, what a great run down from behind. That's holding the ball, Tyson Biffin, as he goes back across to centre half back. Collings is there, kicks it further outfield, out wide towards Blazer again. He marks and takes one bounce, gets to the wing, drives it towards centre half forward. Over the back there is Ainsworth. He's still on his own, and that was 5 minutes ago. Now he goes to the hot spot. Farrell goes up. He's too tall for Olsen in the goal square, and Farrell will go back and put it through. Tyson Biffin, this is your goal.
Oh, let's go back 30 seconds. Tyson Biffin, chase down tackle on Eddie Morris. Let's not forget we're 19 minutes into the final term and they're 11 goals up. Could have been within his rights as Farrell goes back and knocks this one through from the top of the square.
He missed.
For a behind.
Yep.
Well, there you go. Sorry, Troy, I gave you the bum steer there.
Gave me the thumbs up saying he's just kicked that goal while you're talking and led me up the garden path. Did you there, Darryl? But my fault. I should have been watching as Olsen plays on. Handballs over the top to Miller. Miller chisels the ball inside to the half-back flank. McLeod drops a mark he should have taken. Now he's got pressure. Pressure from that man in Di Virgilio, who's recovered from that heavy hit earlier. Just would have knocked the wind out of him. A ball up on the half-forward flank for the Lions.
The triplet's been good for Druin this afternoon, and I think they've played really well. However, they're not going to get the job done. The Lions have been fantastic. Working hard was Lissack from the stoppage. Couldn't get a handball away. Fleming does well. Good work in the stoppage. Gave it out to Prestige, who can run on and kick another behind. Paul, you mentioned something about behind the first time these two sides.
When they played the first time here, it was Moe kicked 18 goals, 28.
Well, we're now 16-21, and we're not that far away. Margin is 68 points now at the 20-minute mark of the last quarter. They go inboard to Druin from the kick-out and found Liam Axford. Axford goes high and long to the wing, letting Farley have a run and jump at it, but Biffin was in the front spot. Tried to crash his way through there was Farley again, but gave it straight up to Biffin. He went backwards to Braganolo. His handball out wide to Prestige. Comes back onto his left foot now. He tries to handball over the top. Good tackle on that occasion there was from Harrison.
causes a turnover. Two Druin players there just look at each other. Guy ended up getting the football. Harrison bounces up to him, right foot kick. It's 1-on-2 Reynolds. Strong defender that he is.
Rock solid he's been this game.
And gave a good handball away as well. And Druin boys, there's more of them cramping as they're coming off. Maybe their pre-season hasn't been as strong as what it could have been. And the football comes back into Di Virgilio on the wing.
Di Virgilio chips the ball over the top. Farrell's worked hard all game as well. Wheels around, has a player running on the half-forward flank. That's Tommy Long, runs inside 50, puts the ball on the boot, hangs it out to the right, and he's hit that same post again. As they can't seem to just squeeze through a couple of goals just to round out a fantastic performance for the Lions. They've had the 2 goals so far this quarter. It's Pearce has scored both of them for the Lions, and McCullum has the sole goal in this quarter for the Hawks.
2 goals, 9, Troy, this quarter.
Well, comes back in. The margin, as we said, 69 points. 22 minutes gone. They go short. That's not 15, surely. The umpire said it went 15.1.
0-1.
For the
Morris.
Wayne, that is. Not Ed. Half-back flank for Druin. Kicks it down the line. Looking for his, is it brother Ed? Not
We'll
sure.
go with that.
Ed, good work at ground level. Through Campbell Jolly. Over the top they go. They're on there, out in the feet here. The Hawks. A quick handball from Lissack. Go to Anderson. Oh, good work by Barr. Now Nathan Guy has it. Sweeps it back to Guy Barr, who can run to 50. He's already kicked one cracking goal of the day. That left foot shot is going again. And there's another goal of the day this afternoon. The Gippsland Live goal of the day, as Tom Barr has 2 goals this afternoon for the Hawks.
Tommy Barr. But he's certainly worked his way into the game. Has been one of the Druin Hawks that can hold his head up high, along with Eddie Morris and Bobby McCullum. But they just haven't had too many that have carried along the way and helped them out.
23-minute mark of the final term. Slam scoreboard. Druin are taking their score now to 8-7-55. They trail by 63 points over Moe. 16-22, 118.
McCallum gets a tap in the middle, but Collings was in there. Gathers, handballs back to the run-off half-back with Biffin, who kicked it towards half-forward. Tom Fleming was there. So was Jackson Koss, his Hawks defender. Taps it in front of him. Good work by Prestige. Gets to their 50. A quick kick by Olsen. Gets it out now towards Slater. Salter, that is. It's AL, not LA. As we got a boundary throw in right in front of us. 23 and a half minutes have gone. Moe 16-22, 118. And Druin are 8-7-55. It's round 1 of the TRFM Gippsland League. It's great to have your company this afternoon, right across Gippsland and the Valley. Working hard there from the stoppage was Axford. Put a strong tackle on Jacob Wood, and we'll have another stoppage.
Around the grounds, thanks for Harvey Norman Furniture Gippsland. We mentioned that Port Power have won by 5 points over the Brisbane Lions, and the Demons currently lead by 25 points, 26 minutes gone into the final term. We have a free kick from the ball up on true centre wing. It's going to be Morrow. Blazer runs around the back for a handball. Chips the ball inside, finds Stanlake. Releases over the top to Harry Sim. He can run and find a target in Farrell. Marks on the half-forward flank. Has options up forward. Renitz has worked forward, as does Fleming. And Fleming marks out in front. Right up on the boundary, on the wrong side, because the wind is blowing into his face. Plays on. Kicks the ball nicely to the top of the square. It's going to carry and miss again to the near side. What's that, Paul? 2-10?
2 goals, 10. Yep.
In this quarter. So very inaccurate kicking in this quarter. And they still lead by a healthy margin, but it could have been a lot worse.
The game is underway up in East Gippsland, as it's going to come back in. I'll get to that in a moment, as Farrell took the mark out of fullback, gave it out towards Stanlake, who gave it to Stanlake. Steps inside the tackler. Right foot shot on goal. Can Stanlake join the party? No, he can't. As Olsen takes the marks, will leave a little bit of pressure. Bairnsdale 2-1-13, leading Terrelgan 2 straight 12. And that's halfway through the first quarter up there at East Gippsland.
Great pressure by Moe, creates a turnover on their half-forward flank. They work it back to their half-back flank. Almost back inside their defensive 50, finds Blazer. Blazer misses a target in Van Dyke, has to get it on the half-volley. Handballs over the top to Massis. Gives it off to Braganolo. Choi squeezes a pass and can't quite keep it inside. He's a bit slow to get up, is Tyson Biffin. We'll keep an eye on that one. Lassick plays on from the resulting free kick. Kicks the ball forward. Blazer finds himself on half-back flank on Eddie Morris. Ends up with Morris. Ducks inside Braganolo. Chips the ball over the top, looking for, is that fairly forward? And no, it's Allison. Defensive mark there. Ends up with Harry Sim on the outer side. Outside is defensive 50. Kicks the ball nicely back inside the corridor and finds Bryce Collins.
Gets around on the left foot, comes in board, over the top. Oh, good work by, to get his hand up there was Olsen it was. Comes back in board. Now they work it backwards. Quick hands back there to Austin Hames. He drives it long, and again, great mark back there was Lachlan Reese, who again plays on quickly. Moe are certainly not stopping here. That was a great kick by Blazer at a half-back. It hit Stanlake on the wing, and that was a good kick towards Fleming, right on the top of the 50. Pearce presents over the back. Prestige they look for.
Rennet.
Go back. Rennet has moved forward. Pearce handballs back to Collins. Left foot, lowers the eyes, hits Prestige in the pocket. Will go back 30 metres out. Fairly tight angle, but should put this one through.
This is 11th mark inside 50 for Moe this quarter.
Certainly been dominant, and but they have been inaccurate. But it is still good enough.
2 goals 11, 2 goals 10.
64-point margin though. But the way I do like is they're still running it across half-back. They're still running it out as Prestige comes in. Can he stop the run of behinds? No, he can't. I'm not sure what's nice about that, Troy.
It looked really good off the boot. I was waiting for the wind to start to bring it back, but it...
Paul, another minor score.
Looks like my
Gippsland scoreboard sees Moe 16 at 24, 120 to Druin 8755.
Well, they're in a bit of trouble again, Troy.
Looks like my pre-season's been just as good as Druin's. By the looks of it. They do work the ball out, but Braganolo takes a defensive mark, intercept mark in front of Miller. As Farrell's not happy about it. Going to see a reversal here. No real need for that by Farrell. Siren goes.
Doesn't matter. It's all done and dusted as Anderson got up and went to throw the footy. They said, don't worry about that. They give each other a hug. They thank each other for today's game, and it was all one way in the end. After 19 points at half-time, Druin was certainly competitive in a half of football, but then it really did blow out. It could have got worse, all for Moe's inaccurate kicking, but still, the margin was 65 points in the end. It was Moe 16-24, 120. Have defeated Druin in round one action of the TRFM Gippsland League, 8-7-55. We're going to go to a break and hopefully come back and we'll get a chat with the winners. Of course, down there in the rooms. We might send Troy out to try and get a chat with the winners from the Moe Lions, who have started the season in fine fashion. Goal scorers this afternoon, Josh Pearce, for the first time in the club at Moe. He kicked 4 goals and Ash Dugan got 3. We didn't see after three-quarter time with a knee injury. Hopefully he's okay. He got 3. Scott Van Dyke also got 3.